5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Brandon K Show. I am your host, as always, Brandon K, and this is a real show. And today, this is every Pixar movie ranked. So me and my friends, Patrick and Brian and Alan, we got together and we made a list of all the Pixar movies, and we're going to go through and rank them. Here we go, Patrick. Thank you for joining us. You want to explain it a little bit to us?
Yeah, it's so great to be here, everybody. Sorry, I'm like doing something else on this. Here we go. Great to be here, everybody. We're live in studio with Brandon K. For those, most of you all watching may be familiar with the tournament bracket. Well, so there's some methodology. I'm just going to take a moment to share this on my social media real quick. Like and subscribe to the Brandon K Show, please. Looks like, what do we got here? Hold on just a second.
So a fun fact about this brackets is that Patrick and Brian used to get together during the quarantine. They did a show called the Yappy Hour. You guys did a couple of different brackets. Did you ever do Pixar?
Did not do Pixar. I think the show went for like 60 or 70 days, 80 days, something like that.
Yeah, we're live on Yappy Hour. This is the Yappy Hour crossover because most of the crew is here. Sorry about that, Stung. I just want to make sure I shared it out to the proper authorities.
Absolutely.
So yes, so I'm going to be the game master, the ring master of this. I have not seen every Pixar film. I presume most of you have seen probably almost all of them. I did a very complicated ring system to get our seeds 1 through 27. Of course, all of you know there is 27 Pixar films. And so what I did for this, and Brandon, I'm going to share my screen in a second. I had created a very cool system where I reached out privately to every single person on this call, and I said, can you give me your top 16 Pixar films? And so everyone just gave me their list. This is on the screen. And I took each top one and gave them about 16 points. And then I would just go down. So, for example, Brian's second favorite was Ratatouille. That got 15, 14, 13, blah, 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 blah. And then I brought that over to this side and put all the points into the system. These are not sorted yet, right? So everyone got a point, moved up. Some of them had 0 points. There were some snubs. And then I sorted that. Can you actually just put this full screen so just while I'm explaining this, Brandon, and then so that it's a little bit bigger for the audience to see? I know they really want to crunch these numbers. And then I ended up sorting it, and we have our seed. So coming in as a number 1 seed, everyone, Toy Story 1 from 1995. They go to Finding Nemo, Monsters Incorporated, WALL-E. Though this goes on, I'm going to go ahead and go down to our smaller seeds. Lightyear did not get any points. Incredibles 2 did not get any points. Cars 3, 0 points. The Good Dinosaur, 0. Cars 2, 0. So there were some snubs here. And has everyone seen all these movies on the bottom, or was those just movies people weren't familiar with and haven't seen in a long time?
I have seen Good Dinosaur. I saw Lightyear. I saw Cars 2. I saw Turning Red. I saw Incredibles 2. I didn't understand the assignment exactly.
I know you didn't, but it didn't matter because it all good.
Can I answer the question? I would say so. I have seen a lot of the movies. There's probably 3 or 4 I haven't seen. I have seen Good Dinosaur. I was not a fan, so I did not rank that in my top 16. And then I think everybody kind of seemed to stay with this guideline, which is we didn't pick a lot of sequels for the top 16. I kind of stay with the original. Some are their sequels were better than the original, but a lot of them it's kind of like Cars 3 or whatever.
I put all the Toy Story on all the Toy Story sequels on my list, as well as Finding Dory on my list.
Yeah, but so this was an assignment that we did, but that's not what we're really here for, right? The show's not over. We're here for the epic Pixar Tournament of Doom. Do you have an applause button?
Yeah, and for everybody watching, it looks like there's people watching. Come in and throw in what your favorite Pixar movies are, because this is what we're doing today.
This is what we're doing today. Yeah, I know.
The magic of Pixar storytelling, Pixar characters.
No, we're not going to talk about that. No, just kidding. All right, so we already put a little bit in. Brandon, let's go ahead and get started with this epic tournament showdown. Go ahead and.
I do have one more question.
Sure.
Are we?
Well, I haven't explained anything yet, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, that's fair. But as far as like when we talk about these movies, do we each want to give like a little review or a kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down, kind of a how detailed do you want our vote?
Don't share. Can you turn that off, Brandon? So let's go ahead. Let me just go ahead and talk through the how we're doing.
That I don't know.
No. Just let me. Gonna get just talk. Tell them go over the rules and explain to the audience and everybody what we're gonna do. All right. So everyone, go ahead, Brandon, and put this on screen for everybody to see. Okay, great. So you see the official bracket, how everything does. What we do in a bracket is you do the top tier seeds and you pair them with the bottom seeds, right? So it's a nice clean tournament. The way that this is designed, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it goes back and forth. So in this first round, there are some that are just going to move forward because they did not have any underling to match up with. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the two teams, I'm just going to call them teams from here on out, and then we're going to have an epic debate about which one is better. As we go longer and longer in, as you know, this is going to get more in the weeds on each thing. Each person has one vote. I'm not voting in this, so there's not going to be any possibility of any ties. It will just be a clean fight. And I welcome you to all speak about the movies, and I'll just Brandon, I know that we don't want to talk over each other, so I'll just kind of act and kind of be like, okay, hey, Brandon, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I'll tally up the official scores, and then we'll move on in the brackets until there's an epic final championship round between two movies. So I'm going to send you guys a thing in the chat. Just look at that before we go. But Brandon, any final words? Is that any questions?
I would just just let's go on. And if you guys don't have any questions, I'll go along here and just answer which one against which one.
So,
did I answer your question, Alan?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, cool. And then at the end of this, we're gonna have a championship. This is gonna be a lot of fun. All right. Well, starting off, we're not going to go to the top tier seeds because they actually are able to skip this round. We're going to go ahead and start off with. There might not be too much discussion needed on this one, but Ratatouille versus Lightyear. Lightyear was the bottom seed for this. Did everybody see Lightyear? Just for starting off, did anybody see it?
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, gentlemen, Brandon, over to you. Any thoughts between these two?
When asked what is better, Ratatouille or Lightyear, Lightyear being one of the newer ones based off Toy Story, and Ratatouille being a movie I haven't seen since 2007, but it does have a great ride over at the Walt Disney World parks. That's a really great ride. And, it's a classic. So, I mean, just to make it easy, I'll say that Lightyear... When I watched it, I fell asleep for a lot of it.
That's not good. Were you at home or did you see it in theater? I forget.
I saw it at Alan's house.
Okay. Alan, is this true? Did he fall asleep?
I guess. Were you watching it when I wasn't there or something?
No. I think we were all there together. And
Did I watch it? Have I seen? I don't remember this movie at all. I guess maybe I do. You're right. Maybe I did see it. That's bad too that I watched it and it's totally not memorable.
It's like 2 years ago it came out. 22.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, because they went to another planet. Can we talk spoiler? Everybody, prepare for spoilers.
Spoiler away. Let's make
all
it real.
Spoilers alert. They went to like a planet. Does he get like cryogenically frozen? Can you remind me of what the story is? Because I guess
they just something happened where their spaceship got stuck, right? And so
yeah,
they had to rehabilitate another planet while they built the spaceship or something.
Right. Oh, and now that I'm remembering, like there's something about where time moves differently for him. Like he gets really old or something, or he goes back and then he's older. Yeah, I am having a vague memory about this. What's that?
He's not aging, but everyone else is. Is that what it is?
Or he's aging very, very slowly, I think.
Yeah.
So wasn't that memorable based on Toy Story movies that I actually do enjoy? I'm going to go with Ratatouille on this one.
Brandon's going Ratatouille. Let's go down the line. I think we gave it a fair shot. Brandon, I don't even think I need to ask you which, because this was one of your top. Ratatouille. What is it? Ratatouille or Lightyear moves on?
Brandon voted.
Oh, I voted.
I'm asking Brian.
Brian. Yeah, I saw Lightyear just one time. I watched Ratatouille last on May 1st, 2024. So that's pretty fresh in my mind. Under 24 hours ago. I'll go with Ratatouille.
Okay, well but just for kicks, Alan, what would you have voted for?
Yeah, I vote Ratatouille as well. I will give an honorable mention. In Lightyear, wasn't there like a really cute like little cat character?
Yes.
I think that was a cool.
Oh, well, that'll win your heart over.
but I vote Ratatouille.
I appreciate you doing your research and watching Ratatoille in preparation for this, Brian.
Well, he does it every Thursday night or Wednesday night, so that's not a problem. All right, let's keep going down the list. That was great. This is interesting. Toy Story 4 is up against Cars. Hold on, which one is this? Yeah, Cars 3. It doesn't even say 3 on it. Yeah. Now, I want to say before we go into this, I actually really like this movie, and I would have probably ranked it a lot higher if I was playing or part of the seating. Cars 3. I really enjoyed it. I think it's the strongest of the 3 Cars movies, but. I've been watching a lot of Cars because of my son. So, anyway, and I've not seen Toy Story 4. I don't think I've seen that. I don't recognize those characters. So, but I have an idea of where this is going. Alan, why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts about Cars 3 and Toy Story 4 and who moves on?
So unfortunately, I haven't seen either of these. I did hear Brian and Brandon's review of Toy Story 4.
We don't need to hear that then. If you haven't seen them, let's just go to Brian.
Yeah. But for Patrick's sake, since I haven't seen either of these movies, I'll vote for Cars 3 to put your kind of vote into the not mix.
Alan, speak as long as you'd like.
Yeah, take
the time. All right, Mr. Kane.
I think they're both great. I love the Cars series. I think the original Cars was great. I liked it a lot. I think it was.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, but we're talking about Cars.
I know. I'm getting there. Cars 2 was a good evolution to the story, and then Cars 3. I didn't think it was. It just kind of got a little bit out in left field at that point. I like the storyline, but I really enjoyed the first one. The second one was okay, and then this one I don't care for it. But Toy Story 4 I think was great. I loved this movie. I think it's probably one of the most emotional endings of a story for me, of any on the board here. So my vote goes to Toy Story 4.
I have a question for Brian.
Sure.
Where did you have Toy Story 4 in your top 16 or?
Yeah.
He is like number 2 or 3.
Okay, so it got some points from you, and maybe Brandon too. But yeah, I'm surprised it came in so low with you guys liking it a lot.
Yeah, Brian ranked it as it was his number 13. No, it was just sorry. It got 13 points from Brian. It was number 4, so that was matched up with Brandon. And then Alan, you ranked it pretty low, or you didn't even have it on your list. That's right. So I just want to say this. Brian, I want to watch Cars 3 with you because I think it's really fun and a kind of good pays homage to the racing, and I think it's a good rhyming. It rhymes with Cars 1 and again in interesting ways. So
I feel like I saw it once, so I welcome
I've seen it 10 times in the last week. All right, let's go to Brandon. We're gonna move on here. Brandon, what do we got? Toy Story 4 or the movie that you did not
like
rank?
when you say that Cars 3 rhymes with Cars 1 because that's something that George Lucas said about the Star Wars trilogies, but I never saw Cars 3. Cars in general is low on my list. I'd put any Toy Story movie above any Cars movie, and Toy Story 4 is one of it's probably my second favorite or first favorite Toy Story, so I'm gonna go with Toy Story 4.
Okay, Toy Story 4. Moving on, a very exciting round on the next one. Very interesting to see what happens. All right, going into the bottoms. A Bug's Life versus Cars 2. I actually think this is interesting because I'm kind of pondering in my head, A Bug's Life. And Alan, Brandon, you worked this attraction, right, Brandon?
That's why it has such a spot in my heart. I was with those characters every day at A Bug's Life in Disney's California Adventure. And I just love those characters in general. Little Heimlich and flick there, Flicks Fun Fair.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like I said, I'm not a huge Cars fan.
No, you've said that. You've said it. Yes.
So, and I saw Patrick and I saw Cars 2 together on our trip across the country, but there was no highlights from that movie that really stuck out. Tomater, he's a funny character. Maybe there's some jokes, but as far as like a movie, I would want to create a story I would want to watch, and a franchise I'd like to see more of is A Bug's Life for me.
Yeah, I made a comment on that just a moment because I was invoked. I feel like I remember just thinking this movie was not good, and it felt and then I saw an interview, I heard an interview where John Lasseter said, "Oh, I've always wanted to make a spy movie," and so he did it with Cars, and it's like it just was very off tone for what they were the original film was about, more like racing, and this was different, kind of a convoluted. Now I went back and watched it because we're just all Cars content here at the house like last week, and I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I remember. This is all right. And then it was like, okay, I watched it again, and now I've probably seen it 5 times in the last week. And I'm like, okay, it's coming back up there in the rank a little bit. And so I feel like if I went back and watched A Bug's Life, which I think I tried to do maybe like, I don't know, a couple years ago, I was kind of bored. I was like, this is a boring movie. So I mean, I just want to put that out there. But Brian K, over to you, Kane.
Yeah, I did appreciate your explanation there, Patrick, about Cars. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was fun. I think the spy part is a fun take. I do recall John Lasseter talking about that, so I appreciate hearing that. A Bug's Life, I think, is a cute movie. It's the second movie from Pixar, and I really liked. I cherished my time I worked at Disneyland, and that's when I met all the three of you. And A Bug's Land, is that what it was called?
Was called. Land?
It's tough to be a Bug's Land.
Which one is it?
Bug's Land. The show was tough to be a bug.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that. A Bug's Land was a quick way to get to a certain attraction, so I was always skipping through it. But just because there's other cars in the bracket here and there's only been one A Bug's Life, I'm going with A Bug's Life.
Okay, well, Alan, you have not seen either of these, or you've seen these movies?
No, we're split, or are we? It's already 2-0.
Brandon K, would you voted for Bug's Life?
Yeah, we're 2.
Okay, it's A Bug's Life.
2-0. Yeah, so the only thing I'll say is I have only seen one of these movies, so my vote would have been Bug's Life as well. So we can talk more about that one in the next round.
Yeah,
And,
you should be Cars, Alan. You worked at DCA.
Yeah, but see, if you want my opinion in this moment, you're asking me.
I'm gonna win you over and have this vote turned.
The first Cars was just okay for me the first time.
Yeah,
and it's good. It's gotten better, but it didn't entice me enough to really want to watch 2 and 3. I like the characters, but I don't. And it sounds like I'd rather see 3 than 2 now that you've reviewed 2. So
yeah, you can watch 2 without knowing anything from the 3. So, but I will say this is that we have all worked at Disneyland Resort, which is interesting. Fun fact about us. All right, now we just for the sake of time, we're gonna have to move on, Alan. I apologize for cutting you off. 2 movies.
I'm going to challenge you all to, and we can talk about this on the next bracket, but I would challenge you all to go watch A Bug's Life again and think about the political implications of what's going on with those grasshoppers and what's going on with those ants.
Yeah, there's some interesting. I mean, or just go see It's Tough to Be a Bug at Animal Kingdom. Well, you still can because it's going to be a Zootopia. Zootopia. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll cancel it. Who knows? So we have 2. I don't know what all this nonsense is. Okay, so now we have 2 movies. I've seen them all. One was for me Brave was the bottom seed here. Inside Out is more mid seed. I'm just gonna go ahead and toss it to you. Let's start Alan because you didn't really vote last time. Inside Out versus Brave.
And one thing I'll just say is it's interesting. Brandon brings up the point of like the standing up against the man, and it seems like big corporations are trying to wipe that story from existence. Bug's Land is gone. Tough to be gone. Is there something there? Anyways, so Inside Out versus Brave. I've never seen Brave. I understand the concept. I've seen the characters. I should really see that one. Maybe I should have prepped it before this, but Inside Out is great. I wouldn't have voted Brave over. I mean, I guess I could have if I really like Brave, but Inside Out is one of my top, 10 10 probably. So I vote Inside Out on this one. I'm really looking forward to number 2. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of really fun characters in that movie. You know, about growing up and being a kid.
Mr. Kane.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was your number
my review.
5. Yeah, let's go to Mr. Kane.
Let's see. Inside Out, I think it's a great movie. I think it's a fun storyline. I think, you know, there was like, after that movie came out, there's psychologists, I think it's psychology, that came out and said that the brain actually does kind of work like that. How there's like core memories and like you really do define your personality and some of those things. So I really enjoyed that they have some like backing science in that. Brave, also a cute movie. I like the, you know, she's trying to forge her own way, but you know, she's to trust some guidance she's given.
Now, I'm going to ask you before you vote, because this was on the fence. Brandon, do you want to make a pitch for which one you think is better?
Oh,
these are very close for you. I want to see if your thoughts have changed.
For me or Brandon?
Brandon, because I think he might be able to convince you otherwise. I know where you're going with that, Brandon. Brian.
No, well, for me, I didn't see Brave. And
you put it on your list, though.
I did because I didn't understand the list. So Brave, to me, it never really I didn't even really want to watch it, but it doesn't have anything really that stands out to me that I would go watch it. Brian, how many times have you seen Brave?
I watched Brave, actually, for the first time. It came out in 2012. I watched it with Patrick and Wyatt in Orlando, I believe. And I've watched it probably 4 times. Most recently, probably 2-3 weeks ago. Inside Out, probably similar count though.
And so for me, like, I'm always about like the most creative, the most just like mind blowing, life changing movie. So like Inside Out would be the one for me on that one.
I mean, we'll probably get a lot of people who would disagree. That, you know, there's probably a lot of people that really love Brave out there, I would imagine. But
well, hey, where's Brave 2? That's my other argument.
Well, hey.
Where's A Bug's Life 2?
Alan addressed that they don't want to make A Bug's Life 2. It's too.
Yeah. So Brandon, I just got to ask: so when I messaged you, my message of send me your top 16 ranked generally, you did that, and then you just sent me a list of movies.
Easy.
No, what was that? Well, I'm confused.
Those are the ones that I think people would call the top 16, but they weren't my top 16.
All right. Well, now you know for next time. But I will say that generally speaking, yours were. I mean, you weren't like too out of whack, and now you can have your voice. So if things are a little off.
Mine were in ranked order.
Yeah, I know. And Alan's were too.
27.
Mine was general. I honestly.
This is good. It's all good. This is what we're doing right now.
No.
You know?
But what I want to say is that I actually don't know what my end result will be for this ranking. I'm kind of curious because I
for
don't
Inside
know.
Out, right?
What's that?
For these two, Inside Out and Brave?
No. For the overall tournament, like I don't have a number 1 out there. You know.
Well, we don't have all day, guys. So Brian, Inside Out.
Wait, hold on. So Alan, you were Inside Out?
I was Inside Out.
Okay. Well, because it's already 2, I'm gonna vote for Brave just to give it an honorable mention.
There you go.
All right. Well, appreciate you all, and you know what? We're gonna do this for every single.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I did pull up my ranking. Brave wasn't in the top 16 versus Inside Out was number 14 out of 16 for me.
Yeah.
But seeing them pinned against each other made me reconsider it because I did enjoy Brave. It's cute. They got the 3 little brothers that turned into 3 little bears. They're a cute little storyline.
I don't remember anything. If you had a chance to change your life, would you? That's the only thing I remember, and I have no idea what the plot was at all. Now That's
a good movie. I like that.
I don't. Elemental. Have you guys all seen Elemental? Who has not seen Elemental?
Yes.
Yes, Brian. Okay, so interesting because I was surprised to see it such a lower seed. In our seed round, hold on, I'm going to pull this up just because Max liked it, and so we watched it a ton of times. It pulled up. It was number 20th, and I was like, I could probably look at this list and think that like it's a little better than a couple of these, but also, you know, Pixar makes great movies, right? They make great movies. Yeah, so I really don't know where the things are going to shake out on this. I'm going to start with Brian on this one, and then we'll go from there. Toy Story 2 and Elemental. I think this could be a toss-up, really, so I'm interested to see what you guys think. Let's hear it.
It is interesting. So for the record, both of these movies did not show up on my list. I am a fan of Toy Story 2. I'm a fan of the Toy Story series. I have never cared for Toy Story 2. I've never cared for it. I like the introduction of what's the gal? His Jessie, and I like that song, the Sarah McLachlan song. I like that. I think those are the things I like about the movie. Otherwise, I don't care for the movie at all. I mean, maybe it needs to grow on me. I haven't watched it in a long time. Elemental also,
but this one also introduces Lotso. Is that correct?
Nope, that's 3.
That's 3. Okay, all right.
But there is more Zurg in Toy Story 2.
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
And Al's Toy Barn.
And if you what's interesting is if you watch the Pixar story, you find out how little the time it took to actually put this together and how I feel like it was haphazardly put together. Kind of lends to what I think about it. Elemental, I think, was a very cute movie. I think it's a fun storyline. I like it's very flashy. They were doing like character drawing at California Adventure. I drew the guy on the right. Nice. My vote here goes to Elemental. I like that one.
Point on the board for Elemental. I love that. Love Elemental getting a point. You never know what's going to happen in this tournament, folks, and you guys are going to be disappointed. Get ready for disappointment. Everyone here, your top seed's not going to win. It may not. It may. Let's go to Alan.
Can I?
Sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to ask to go first to try to persuade Alan.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. That's a good deal. Go ahead, Brandon.
So, Alan, you've seen both these movies. I would say that Elemental is, it's a cool world. We see, the elements, and it's a love story between two characters. I would say I don't know like how much you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, but Toy Story 2 and all the Toy Stories I would put up, against most of the other Pixar movies. And remember that Toy Story 2 introduced Jessie, Bullseye, Al's Toy Barn, more to do with Zurg. Toy Story 2 is not a movie to sleep on, and it also introduced the idea of sequels into the Pixar world, showing that a Pixar sequel can be done just as good as the original. My vote is for Toy Story 2.
Just as good is an interesting way to put that.
Well, and it was Toy Story 1995, A Bug's Life 1998. They had no ideas, and so they did Toy Story 2 in 1999. And they took 2 years off.
The direction they went with Toy Story 2, I was very pleased with it.
So here's my take is that you can make a sequel as good as the original, because I think that Toy Story 3 does that. Unfortunately, I do not think that Toy Story 2 does that. So for me, this is it does introduce the characters. I'll give it that. That would push me a little more if Elemental wasn't a great movie. But because it's just kind of one of the ones in the series, and there's a few good characters, I don't rank Toy Story 2 higher. And I saw Elemental; it was great, and I even just watched it on a plane, and my audio wasn't great. I like to go back and rewatch it to really get a lot of the flash and dialogue that was going on. So, but my vote is for Elemental in this face off.
Boom! I love that, and
I didn't see that coming.
And I want to just say, anything can happen on the bracket, and be prepared to be disappointed when your team does not win. Now, what I want to do
taking bets on the side. We'll have a little.
We should have. I will say this. Go on Disney Plus and watch like the behind the scenes making of it. Adds to the excitement and the whole the story, Alan. And I hope you enjoy
Elemental?
that. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So to review the movie that Alan kind of watched on the plane, beat out.
Okay.
But I want to say this, Brandon K. You made a really good point. Like it kind of introduced a bunch of characters that are ubiquitous. Cool, but only one can win, and it is Elemental. All right.
That's good.
Now, Brandon, let me just get this guy here going. We're gonna have Elemental go. These are movies that I've kind of seen. Luca, maybe like kind of. Oops, sorry. And I never saw Onward, so I really, it was in the background noise. I don't even know because Kia watches movies and I'm like not watching them. I want to watch it, the whole thing. Luca, Onward, bottom seed, kind of bottom. This is actually like they're like 7 and 8. They're very close in the seeding. I think Brian might have a strong opinion about this, so let's go to Brian. Then we'll go to Brandon and then Alan, unless there's a disagreement on that. Let's go. Brian K.
So this Luca came in 10th for me. Onward was 15th, and I enjoyed the Onward story. I thought that it was a fun story. You know, it's that I assume everyone's seen it, and I'm just going to spoil it rotten. The father dies at a young age. The young one never knew him. The old one did, and so it's like the young one wants to meet his father. And so they go on this quest and try to meet the father. It's a fun story. It's twists and turns, and yeah, it's fun. It's a great watch. I've seen it only twice, so that's that. Luca probably 20 times. I think it's fun. Great, cute movie. They make a pasta dish out of that I actually made with Patrick and his wife once, which was cool. It's a good story about friendship and love. So my vote's Luca.
Okay, over to Brandon K.
Yeah, for me, I've seen both these movies. I saw Onward twice in theaters. I saw Luca once on Disney Plus, and Luca didn't really do a lot for me. So Alan recommended it, and I watched it, but there was a lot of just like really not understanding the whole thing about them being mermaids and coming to the land, and not really fully buying into that whole story. And so, but for Onward, I liked it all the way through. And there's a lot of funny moments and a lot of, taking me to a magical world that I did buy into and I would like to see more of. So my vote's for Onward.
Oh, well, that puts me in a tough position here. So I have seen both of these movies, and I would say even that they are very evenly matched because they came out kind of around the same couple of years, kind of during the COVID times. I think I watched them both on Disney Plus. I've also think I've seen both of them each about once. But they're both great movies, and I love in Luca. I love the story about he has like this was pre the Encanto Bruno. It was like he has his Bruno in his mind, and it's keeping him from being brave. And I really like that part of the Luca story. Onward, a little bit more of an adventure story, and really awesome. Like Brian said, they had like a magic staff. They were on the journey trying to the staff somehow brought the dad back, I think was the idea. But it's hard. It's really tough.
It's like
what's that?
Yeah, it was like used as to conjure the spell, right? So, but it was a spell that they used with that.
Yeah. So I feel like one's a little bit more of a adventure story. Luca's a little bit more of a heartfelt. They're kind of just living in their hometown, going on adventures. But then the mermaid stuff is interesting. I don't quite recall. They turn into mermaids. Is that kind of the concept? Like
when they touch the water, they are.
They're sea monsters. When they come out and dry off, they look like people.
It's merman.
So because I'm torn, does either of you want to make one last little case for one of these two? I don't mean to drag this out, but anybody want to speak out and say, hey?
Here's what I'll say. Which one would you like to see a sequel of?
Ooh. Well, here's the thing. I'd like to. I'm gonna review that statement. Onward was a story about him seeing his father. They saw the father. Done. Luca, as he goes to school, what's next?
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of interesting mythology in that Luca.
Onward created a whole new world, a whole magic world, new characters, new beings, all that Pixar hasn't done before.
All right, we're gonna need an answer. We gotta keep moving.
I've been swayed. It's maybe not the way you would think, but I think Brian has won me over on Luca. I'm gonna vote Luca. I think the characters were great in both. Honestly, it's really tough to decide, but we'll go Luca.
I didn't see that coming. I thought Brandon won you over, honestly.
All right, now
it was down to the wire.
If we are all good with it, Brandon, you want to go to a quick commercial break? I got to go run and do something with the kids, but I'll be right back.
I do have a commercial here. Let me see if I can pull it up. It is Brandon K Show is brought to you by Giftiply charity wrapping paper. And, obviously Patrick is the one who started this company. So we always try to show our support. And we have this little spot right here. I'm going to play it. use promo code BK Show for 25% off.
This wrapping paper is disrupting the industry. Each wrapping paper design tells a story inspired by the missions of our nonprofit partners. We have a diverse set of causes you can support, from childhood cancer research to conservation and animal welfare to LGBTQ plus youth and more. Our paper is sustainable too. We use soy-based inks on 100% recyclable newspaper print for a boutique quality finish. And remember, now every gift can give back with Giftiply.
That was a good way for Patrick to get his commercial in there. Let's see. So, what do you guys think of the bracket so far? The last two. I'm a little shaken up about.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that there's a lot of good movies, and that it's really gonna come down to those top 5 to 8 or so. You know, at a certain point, we're gonna see the real cream rising to the top. So even though it's in these early rounds, you see someone get knocked out, I think the true winners will move on.
Will prevail. Yeah, you can't all be first round picks, you know.
It's going to be interesting because there is the nostalgia factor in those early movies. It's kind of, will they be toppled by the later ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alan, did you see that Brian changed his background to be like mine?
I did. I think Brian was asking me if I was on my phone. Were you asking so that I could try to change my background to the? Sure. Yeah, I can't get in on the bit. Looks like Patrick's right there in the room with Brandon.
Yeah. All right.
With our different our Star Wars statues. All right, we're back. Patrick's back. What's going on?
All right. Pardon that delay. All right.
So we're going over to the second side here.
Second side. We're going to the second side. So Finding Nemo, it seeded out. Wall-E seeded out. The Incredibles seeded out, which brings us to a period where they just have numbers on the screen.
3 versus 2.
3 versus Incredibles 2. That's how they were getting off their kicks. Brandon, let's go ahead and start with you if you're cool with that.
So there's a sad theme among some of these movies, which is that I'm getting older, and I fell asleep during Incredibles 2. At the theater. I either fell asleep or walked out because Incredibles 2 wasn't really that captivating for me.
Wow,
and Toy Story 3 I've seen multiple times, and as Alan mentioned, it is a superior sequel. I even think that they upped it from Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, and then Toy Story 3 got even better, 10 years later. So with Lotso Bear, more political implications about the world we live in, and my choice is for Toy Story 3. Oh, and a killer, sad ending that made me cry, like a lot of people said.
So anybody that has positive feelings about Incredibles 2 or even remembers the plot wants to go next? Okay, Brian, over to you.
Okay. So
this is the bottom, one of the second to last bottom seed. I think it was a zeroed out. So that's why this is why it's so hilarious that these are up against each other. So Incredibles 2. Go ahead, Brian.
Actually I ranked Toy Story 3 over Incredibles 2, but both were outside of my 16. I'm gonna vote for Incredibles 2.
Okay. I'll go.
Why?
Next then. Oh, do you want
any reasoning, Brian?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick thing. Again, Toy Story, incredibly important to me. I was 5 or 6 when I was in the theater back in the 90s. I was actually 7 or 8. But what, 95 or 93?
Well, this is Toy Story 3, not.
I'm asking about Toy Story though.
95. It was definitely 95, the first Pixar movie.
Yeah, so I was 7. So I love the Toy Story characters. They're everywhere. But Toy Story 2 introduced Jack, and I am a big fan of the Incredible Coaster at California Adventure. I get off of that ride laughing every time. I mean, it was fun as what was it before? California Screaming. Same ride, but they got the Pixar characters. So of the two of these, I'm going to vote for that one.
Alan, how do you feel about Incredicoaster versus the California Screaming?
I just want to say, how dare you, Brian, for getting the name of the California Screamin'.
Yeah.
Was it
a lot
California
of-
Scream? What was it?
What?
Yeah, well, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, California Screamin'. It was great. It was one of my first attractions I worked. I love it.
Okay.
Incredicoaster, the ending is great. The big animatronic in the beginning is great. The rest kind of leaves a lot to be desired. So not a huge fan of Incredicoaster. I'll ride it. It's still a coaster, but it's got some plot holes. But anyways, that's a different show. I will say you brought up the only thing that I didn't, because I couldn't really remember Incredibles 2. I did watch it, but yeah, I guess it introduced Jack, so it's probably a little bit more about the future of the family, what he had going on. He was kind of running all around. But I'll kind of make this easy. I think that I probably didn't rank Toy Story 3 because because there are so many great movies, but I probably would have considered putting it higher on my list. I think Toy Story 3 is a great story, and yeah, it's just heartbreaking kind of at the end. I know that's kind of, just playing with our heartstrings a bit, but I think you can't beat that, so I vote Toy Story 3.
Well, we will send Incredible 2 off to
Pastor.
the sad times. Thank you all. I mean, everyone got to weigh in, right? Brandon said Brandon, did you weigh in? Okay, Brandon.
He did.
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story.
This is not
these brackets is how much I love Toy Story.
Yeah. All right, now we have the original Cars versus the Good Dinosaur, which was not seen by most people.
I saw
in
it
America.
in theaters.
I saw it.
I meant in America, not.
The forgotten Pixar movie for a reason.
So I would say, and I've already mentioned that I'm not a Cars fan. The Good Dinosaur was a great Pixar movie. It was cool to go back in time and see what life would look like, through a dinosaur's eyes. And I like to be transported to that world. And I did enjoy the Good Dinosaur, and I'm not a huge Cars fan. But as far as an entire franchise and Cars Land and everything else, I'd still have to go with Cars.
Okay,
I guess I should
Cars.
go as the only other person who saw Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, please.
I never saw it.
To give it a chance. You did see it?
I did not see it.
You did not see it. It left a lot to be desired. I don't remember why it wasn't good. It just wasn't. It wasn't memorable. They were like it's kind of sad. It was like they were going to be extinct, something like along those lines.
Is it at all? Is it all like a Land Before Time?
No, I mean you can't.
They always are.
They always are.
It stands on its own.
Yeah, there's just not that much. Not much memorable. Cars is a great movie. Brandon, you said you're not a fan of Cars at all, or just not?
It's not high on my list. I mean,
Interesting.
I mean, I think Cars is made for children.
Sure.
And
I think
was
that
25.
Okay.
I was like 25 when it came out.
yeah, and I was older too. I think honestly, yeah, Cars Land really did bring Cars around more for me, like just with getting to all those fun characters.
I want to add one thing to Brandon. If you rewatch it, there's some interesting adult parts in the movie for you, like when the cars flash Lightning McQueen. Quite like that.
Yeah,
They do add some.
I got that.
Fun,
I got that when I watched it. Like the jokes intended for older people, but where's like the substance?
Okay. Well, I do believe that Cars is moving on to the next round.
I would like to vote.
Okay.
Did you? Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to vote for Cars.
Yeah. I know we're gonna have more interesting conversations about the next round, but
we
probably these like lower seeds. We should probably press forward a little faster. And
Okay.
But
these are hot debates, though. You put all these things against each
I know that's why the brackets are best. This is the best. Where every movie is being thrown up there,
torn apart.
Which probably if you did not have a little harsh cry during the beginning of that movie, you may not have a soul. Which we'll be getting to shortly. The movie Soul is here. Turning Red, I actually saw that recently. It's really cute, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Brandon K to,
Sure, I'll go first. I was looking forward to Turning Red because I'm a big fan of red pandas.
Sure, who isn't?
Huge fan of red pandas. Not a huge fan of the movie, fortunately.
Where did your affinity to red pandas come about?
they're just so cute. You know, I went in on a search for, you know, just cute pandas or no, cute animals based on the fact of you know, being a creative and wanting to like create characters. And I have like I have a red panda character in my universes of creation. But what they did with the red panda was more like she's a girl, she's going through her period, and when she goes through her period, she becomes a red panda, or it's connected with her period somehow and her mood swings. And you know, I understand what they were doing. You know, it was fine for what it was, but I still go with Up,
Okay, so
even though I'm not a huge Up fan.
I know nothing about Turning Red at all, and that is an interesting storyline, Brandon.
Can you guys confirm that that's what it's about?
Yeah, it's kind of the concept. Yeah, she's like a teenager, so she's kind of going through her hormonal stage.
Okay.
So then that's kind of it. It does align with that a bit. So it gets, you know, it's kind of to, what's the word? Sympathize, I guess, with like, you know, a teenage girl going through that kind of changes in her life and body.
She
and
also
stuff
gets
like that.
introduced to magic, and her mom was a panda or whatever. But yeah, and like it's
Right.
it's connected with her mood swings and period. And
Right. I mean, they tie it into that at first, but you know, it's not a big piece of the whole movie. I mean, it's just kind of what's going on with her emotionally and stuff like that. And then yeah, she goes on an adventure. She goes to a big concert. But yeah, that is accurate. He's correct, Brian.
That's great. I vote Up.
Okay.
Alan, did you vote? Did you vote yet?
I have not voted. I don't know if it matters, right? Yeah, you already set up, Brandon.
Yes, it
Yeah,
doesn't
2
matter.
Ups.
Unless you wanted
Yeah,
to
I mean,
state
I'll
your
just make
case.
it quick. I would say Up. Turning Red's an enjoyable movie. Just kind of one of these later stage Pixar movies that isn't quite as strong as the early ones. So I go Up.
You go Up.
Patrick.
Okay,
Patrick.
Alan, that goes down.
Right,
So Alan, you just said that Turning Red is a later stage, so it's not as creative as the originals. What did you say?
No, not the original Pixar movies are all very strong. You got Toy Story, WALL-E, Finding Nemo, very solid, timeless hits.
Yeah.
And then just creatively things can start to wane, and they got to come up with concepts.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just rehashing characters, so even more lowbrow. But and some of there's some good ones in the later stage. But I'm just saying, in general, it's hard to compete with the classics.
I see. Yeah.
Okay. And I will just say the most fun part about movies is when like you get to know the characters. If the characters are strong enough, you can do a sequel. But it's like, so that's why if like a movie's like really like not interesting, you're kind of like, the story's over. I don't need to see him anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now here we go. We actually have Soul and Finding Dory. So this is one of the topper seeds or higher seeds versus Finding Dory, which kind of barely cracked it. I'm gonna go ahead and do an audible and go to Brian K. Soul versus Finding Dory.
I liked the jazz in Soul. I liked that. I thought the storyline was kind of odd for me. It's been a while, actually. This is where he has to like do a good deed or something, or no, he dies and he wants to come back, so he's got to doesn't he fights his way back or something?
Yeah, there's a character that's a soul. I think it's like number 27, and then it helps him to. What does it help him to do? I forget what he has to do.
Well, he's really interested about not dying and going back into his body, and like there's a loophole on how they can do it. And then he's been kind of having these big delusions, or he's always wanted to be playing the band, jazz band, and then he gets to do it, and he's like, oh well, I thought this was going to feel a lot better. And then it's more about like enjoying the ride versus the destination, So there's a lot of very deep topics. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree, Brandon.
Okay, so Patrick just swayed me. I was gonna go with Finding Dory. I love Finding Nemo. I think that they did a really great job with Finding Dory, with a new storyline. Exploring her youth. Great new characters, like right there on the screen. I thought it was super fun. I also could have really appreciated had they left it at Finding Nemo. I think there was a nice bow tie on that movie. I liked Soul, but now that you recapped it and spoke about the meaning there, I resonate with that, so I'm gonna go with Soul.
I love Soul. All right, Brandon K, who looks like she's about to pop.
I had Finding Dory high on my list. As far as sequels for Pixar movies, it's right there under the Toy Story ones. Finding Dory was an incredible sequel, but Soul was a brand new universe of the spirit, literally going to heaven, the beyond, and playing around with all those ideas in amazing ways. And so, if you don't like Soul, I encourage you to go back and watch Soul and try to wrap your head around what is all being said in Soul.
Boom.
Because I think that Soul is the superior movie here.
And I think Soul could go all the way. It has that potential. It's a Cinderella story, really.
It depends on how much these guys like it. But
Yeah.
Alan, how about you?
Alan, any thoughts on? I mean, Soul will be taking it, but any thoughts on Finding Dory, or if you have none?
I'll say I kind of echo Brandon's thoughts. Soul was a great take on kind of the afterlife and very interesting. Played around with that. It's sad. Finding Dory was a great movie, so same thing as the other guy said, and yeah, I think Soul takes this one.
It'd be really interesting what happens in the next semifinal. But going over to the sequel. It's interesting. The sequels kind of are against new, right? So. I've never really seen Coco the whole way through, but I've kind of seen it in bits and pieces. I kind of understand it. I've seen like probably 75% of the movie. Monsters University, I saw it once. I probably couldn't tell you anything about it. Totally forgettable for me, but that's not to say it's better or worse. Coco is kind of people are like in the past several years talk about how great it is. A lot of heritage and interesting topics there. But let's go ahead and go to Alan, who didn't really get to weigh in much on the last one because it was already over before it started. Monsters University, or MU, as they are calling it here, versus Disney Pixar's Coco.
So I'll just start off saying, Monsters University. I thought it was a good sequel for Monsters Inc.
Prequel.
Oh yeah, it is a prequel. That's true. They go back to school. They introduced a lot of the new monsters that were kind of their buddies back in college. There was a guy that they had that was really funny, and there's a scene, I don't know if you guys remember, but he's like, there's a bunch of balls that he's not supposed to touch, and he's like, I want to touch them all, and he like runs at them, and I thought that was really funny, memorable moment. It's a cute movie, but I think Coco is a more original story. It's a good story about family, and then there's some twists and turns in the movie that are pretty exciting, and it's really well done. Great music, and both of these actually, California Adventure, they had the Monsters University's characters in the Pixar Play Parade, and then Coco, they have a Coco show where they play a lot of the music, and they actually had Ernesto de la Cruz, who's kind of the dead singer. But my vote here is for Coco. I think it's a great tale and definitely rewatchable and very enjoyable.
Well, anybody want to make maybe a plea for Monsters University if anybody feels strongly about that movie, or is this a clean sweep?
I would be making a plea for Monsters University.
Okay, Brandon K, you're up next.
Because I never saw Coco.
That's a bad start.
Or didn't have much interest in seeing it to begin with. I'm sure it has plenty going for it. But I mean, I would toss it over to Brian to, because I don't really get a vote in this one because I never saw it. But for me, the Monsters University prequel,
Monsters Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, the Monsters Cinematic Universe. I'm a big fan of all these Monsters characters, and when Monsters Inc. is going up against other stuff, I think the whole franchise, anything in the Monsters universe franchise, could go up against a lot of these other movies. So I'm gonna go with the Monsters University.
Okay, well, let's go to Brian K in the studio.
I'm in the studio. Thanks, Brandon. Hold on. You just said that you think Monsters University or Monsters Inc. could go against another movie? Because I'm thinking if that proceeds, if you vote Soul versus Monsters University, are you going to go to Monsters University?
It could happen, but the point is that the monster the Monsters University is a cool concept. Just the idea of these monsters on the scare floor and everything. So, like the whole franchise, I'm basically seeing it as a whole franchise versus Coco.
Yeah, I am aligned with you. Actually, I was gonna go Coco. I enjoyed it. I've seen it 3 times. I like it in the parades. What is the current parade at Disneyland? Magic Happens.
No, it's like well, there's a new parade, all Pixar related, right, Al?
Yeah,
But I'm talking about the
I don't
Magic
know a bit,
Happens.
but yes, it is. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds
Sorry.
cool.
This is kind of in honor of that. Go ahead. Back to you. Sorry for the interruption, Brian.
I like the version in Magic Happens, but I really like the Monsters universe. I like Monsters Inc. I think it's fun. I liked Monsters University. I've seen Monsters University way more than Coco, so I'll go with Monsters University.
Interesting. And I want to say, I wasn't sure if you were gravitating more. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm actually looking at my vote here. I was going to go Coco, but I Monsters University scored twice as high than Coco on my list. 8 versus 16. Coco was my last pick on mine.
Yeah, very interesting. So to review the votes, do we have a 50-50 right now?
No, it's
it goes Monsters U. I said Coco. Brandon was Monsters U, and Brian.
Okay. Brian, I feel like there's residue from Monsters Inc. Like you guys are so hard for it that you're having it be part of this. Because I mean, Coco is critically acclaimed, but I don't make up the rules. No.
Alan said Coco, so he got his vote in there. But
yeah, he's sophisticated.
I went for Monsters U, so I mean, it's also the first Pixar prequel. So maybe we'll see some more prequels in the future. Because they showed that it could be done well.
Did we do Monsters? Did Monsters Inc. not make it on here?
It's on the top tier. It's on the very top tier.
Oh, right. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, it's only been, an hour? And we made it through the bracket. Okay. Very interesting. We can go a little quicker now. We've almost reviewed all the movies. We have a few more. We're going to go. This is going to be tough, I think. Because... interesting, because they are going. Hold on, they are going up against the top. So what I'm going to do, Alan, you know what the problem is right now, right?
Right. Yeah. So
I'm going to move. I'm going to do a
16 ranking.
Yeah, I'm going to call an audible. Just because those extra ones we brought in, I'm going to pick the one on the bottom, which was the medium ones, and throw those up against the top seeds and see what nets out. Because that's the only fair way to do this at this point.
Okay.
Well, Brian, do you understand why that has to happen?
Yeah, because ideally you'd want to see your top 4 movies facing off in the final 4. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Now we wouldn't know which 4 would be the final, but you want to have the best chance at that to happen.
Yeah, that was I threw in. Brandon was really sad when I said we didn't really need to talk about all of them. So I was like, I kind of did an audible, and I was like, I'll do a bracket, and I didn't think that was be a consequence. But the consequence is we're gonna have some fun.
And the good news is we got to talk about every Pixar movie. I think we
almost.
For those top
we haven't
ones.
talked about the high seeds.
We got to talk about all the prequels, all the sequels, and that's what I wanted the show to be about.
So this is the problem, Alan. It's an odd number, so I can't pop 2. There's only need to pop. So there's like
there
a
should
bit
be.
of a. Wait. Yeah. So I can drop this here.
That's fine.
Okay, we might need to do a draft. And it's hard because these are like the best movies of Pixar, so you can't. Brandon, can you just talk about something else while I figure a solution out to this that I think will be fair and
all right, Patrick's working on the solution. Let's see. We'll take him off screen. We'll take. We got a new setup here. I've really enjoyed hearing all your guys' takes on these Pixar movies, and I'm impressed of how many Pixar movies you've each seen. Sounds like you guys stay pretty connected on watching all these Pixar movies. Let's go around the room. Brian, do you see every Pixar movie that comes out, or is there? What was the one? There was one that you hadn't seen.
Turning Red and The Good Dinosaur.
Oh yeah, Good Dinosaur. Is there a reason that you just are like, nah, no thanks?
I heard pretty terrible reviews right out of the gate for The Good Dinosaur. And
One
then
issue
Turning
with The Good
Red-
Dinosaur was they did like a rework of the script, and there was like a whole like I think it was they knew it was kind of bad, and then they had to try to rework it. And
Is that like
you
Toy
know,
Story 2?
Is that what happened
Okay.
in Toy Story 2?
Sorry, guys.
Interesting.
We have to
You
get.
should see that on Disney Plus, the Pixar story. It's like an hour and a
What
half.
is it going to take for you to watch Good Dinosaur, Brian?
I'll watch it. I'm not opposed to it. I'll go watch both of these this weekend.
I
All right, guys. So this is how we're
going
gonna
to go through and
go
do reviews of each of these movies individually. So
A
Good
full
Dinosaur,
episode per movie.
potentially.
You
Okay.
can just air the movie.
So now here's what I'm gonna do.
Director's narration.
Okay, let Patrick's up.
Jesus Christ, guys. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do a thing for the Klings and say, Alan and Brandon, are there a movie each that got eliminated that you think is like the Cinderella story that may have a chance against these top two, which is going to be Wall-E and Finding Nemo, that we can bring up out of the fold, the ones that have
Second
already been
chance?
eliminated. It's kind of like a safety.
Yeah, is this because there's only like 14 that are?
It's odd. You have to have just give us an
Yeah.
odd number. So I'm
Well,
trying to.
my vote for that out of the gate would be Coco. Wow, that's my one vote. I
Okay,
think we
so
bring that one back in.
we all know how that's going to go. But yeah, I mean, this we go quick through these ones. So Coco is going to come back from the dead.
Oh,
And-
that's perfect.
Yeah, I know, right? Where was Coco, by the way?
Bottom right, very bottom right.
He
Okay.
did come back from the dead.
Very appropriate.
Thank you. Alan, did you have it up against Wall-E or Finding Nemo? I mean, this is going to be
Alan doesn't
killer.
get to choose that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brian, you
Brandon,
go.
What? Oh, between Wall-E or Finding Nemo?
where do you want to put it up against? Somebody who understands. Brian, you're going to get in here, Brian. What do you want? Because you didn't get to be involved as much.
Nemo, Finding Nemo.
Okay. Brandon K, I need you to pick a team that's been eliminated. This is the wild card match.
I have my answer, which is but these guys both don't like it. But I'm gonna say Toy Story 2.
Hey, you know what? Any given Sunday, baby. Any given Sunday.
But like I said, I put most of these movies up against any Toy Story movie up against any other movie. I mean, Onward would be my second pick there, but I'm gonna go with Toy Story 2.
Don't worry, I didn't ask.
Onward's
So no, it's gonna be interesting. So this is cool. I think this is an appropriate way to round it out. So
Are we going to do the same on the left?
yeah, well, I just brought those back up. So
No, because that doesn't work. Scroll down.
yeah.
That doesn't work because now it's just Bug's Life and Inside Out would carry forward. And there's
No,
nothing
I'm just gonna carry them forward here. It's okay. It'll make sense in a second. It'll be fine. It's just like the second round of these two.
So why did we do differently on the right side versus the left side?
Because there's an odd number, so I'm accounting for that.
Oh, I
So
see.
this one was unaffected. I got to bring the bottom seeds up, and I
Are we gonna vote
eliminated.
twice on
Hold
them
on, hold on a second. No, we're not going to vote
Brandon K
twice.
show, and this is a real show, and we
This
take
bracket's just
very
eliminated.
seriously. We are going to rank every single Pixar movie. We're even going to bring Coco back from the dead, and we're going to make sure that we find out what is the greatest Pixar movie of all time. If you're here in the comments, let us know what.
Is anybody in the comments? I'm usually commenting on the video.
I got 3 people watching, but
That's fine.
so if you guys, what is your opinion on the best Pixar movie? Say Toy Story.
All right. So let's see if I can just make it work as I go along. I desperately wanted to make sure that Brandon was happy with the show. It is his show, and it is a real show.
It is a real show, and
I think this will net out okay, Brandon. I think this will just net out because we'll start with these and then we'll go through again, Brian K. Let's try it out. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the this is now eliminated. This bracket's been eliminated, and I'm sure that's gonna have severe consequences at some point.
So either Bug's Life or Inside Out now goes against whatever the 2 is from the top there, like the semifinals.
Maybe we'll have to seed in some other.
We might have to do some more hanky panky. No, I'll make it work. So let's go ahead and go to Luca versus the original Toy Story. I'm just going to start off. Does anybody want to make a case for Luca? Because I feel like this is a real tough one, guys. This is a real,
I know Brian's a fan of Luca.
I am, but not against Toy Story.
Okay, so do we just? I mean,
Although if I were sitting down on Friday, I would pick Luca, but Toy Story is more important to me.
How many times have you seen Toy Story?
Uncountable.
wow.
How many times
4.
have you seen Luca?
Probably 10.
Hi.
Why'd you watch Toy Story so many times, Brian?
You need to put good
been 30
dinosaur in your
years.
rotation.
What's that?
He's got to put good dinosaur in his rotation so that he can have a
Interesting.
valid opinion about it the next time.
It's just 30 years of time, and if you like, ever since 2019 when Disney Plus came out, all those movies are just on repeat.
Yeah. Well, I think
he likes the music. You've got a friend in me.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have a lot of time to talk about. I think we're gonna have a lot of time to talk about Toy Story in the future rounds. So I mean, we just got to do it. Like, I think we're just gonna go ahead and nuke Luca with a fair shot. But it is not moving forward, and oh my gosh, we're gonna be seeing what's happening next. I'm gonna switch to the next side here, to this ill-fated bracket system that may not work. We have Finding Nemo and Coco. Let's do the lightning round because I think we kind of know where this is going. Finding Nemo underwater. I mean, kind of mind-blowing story, interesting, totally all sorts of fun, wacky undersea creatures, very quotable. Probably one of the most, maybe the most memorable characters from the Pixar situation. Alan,
To be fair, Coco, I never saw Coco. I'm just gonna go with Finding Nemo.
Okay,
Patrick, I don't agree with you. The most memorable characters. I mean, I've never seen either of them in a parade.
There's a show.
Or walking around any of the theme parks.
They are turtle talk.
Not walking around.
There may be more attractions about Finding Nemo.
That's true.
In Tomorrowland.
I think that the characters are great and Finding Nemo is great, but I think Patrick was definitely biasing that commentary he was giving because I think he really loves Finding Nemo. That's great.
I saw it a lot in theaters.
I do vote Finding Nemo, but yeah, I don't know that it's the most memorable characters in this lineup. But yeah, I vote Finding Nemo.
I vote Finding Nemo as well.
There you go. I do think it'd be very interesting if Brandon K had seen Coco, because I think it's kind of an artsy movie that he might be interested in. Very critically acclaimed, but we're going to say goodbye again to Coco. And moving on to another little situation, WALL-E versus Toy Story 2. I mean, wow, this is a kind of a clash of interesting Titan movies. It could be that way.
You're going with me first?
Yeah, I want to hear Alan's take.
So for me, we haven't really talked about WALL-E. WALL-E's a great story. I love, he starts out, he's just on the planet alone. He's cleaning up garbage. Kind of a very unique story. He meets Eva. They go to the, by and large cruise ship. Hilarious. Lots of funny things going on there. Pretty cool music. The flying around in space. All great. I really love WALL-E. Toy Story 2, this one's kind of made its chance at a comeback here, but in this matchup here, Toy Story 2 just doesn't really have a chance against WALL-E for me, so I vote WALL-E in this matchup.
Brian?
Interesting. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Toy Story 2, I'm already giving my vote on that, so I mean, by default, WALL-E's a pretty good movie, so I'll go with WALL-E.
And even though I brought Toy Story 2 back from the dead, and I think it's a great movie, and it could go up against most other movies on this whole bracket, it can't go against WALL-E. WALL-E is my number one favorite Pixar movie.
WALL-E is my number one Pixar movie as well. It is the top of my bracket.
Well, we may have an answer there. Okay, so it was so funny because Brian just said, "Oh, and WALL-E was a pretty good movie," but it's no, that's your top movie, man. I was kind of bearing the lead there.
I wasn't trying to be too excited.
Yeah, don't get too excited. All right, we're going to go on to the next one. I'm going to have to excuse myself for just a moment, but I'm sure you guys can handle Incredibles, all new characters, interesting take on a movie of the only superhero made by Pixar. Very interesting in general versus Toy Story 3, which is, wow, maybe, I'm going to say that's a tough one right there. Brian Kane, let's go to you.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Incredibles. I think it was a fun story. I think it was. It's all new. You know, they were all crime fighters and they wanted to get back into it. So I think it's fun how they're like undercover. I think it's a super cool story. Toy Story 3, third iteration of a failing franchise, and
Easy, man.
just kidding. No, they're great, but it's I probably, when you walk into Toy Story 3, you probably understand 75% of the story in the first 5 seconds because you know the characters, you kind of have an idea what you're going to expect. Obviously, they had some unique twists and turns with like the Spanish-speaking Buzz Lightyear and such. You got Lotso, you got the imprisonment in that baby care facility. So obviously, plenty of fun twists and turns in that, but you knew the characters, right? But The Incredibles is such a new storyline, so fun, and so I'm going with The Incredibles.
Cool.
Now, I just want to throw it out there for Alan. Did you know that Toy Story 3 brought in over $1 billion?
Wow. I definitely believe that. And I think that it's definitely a big reason why they make the Toy Story sequels, because people love the characters. They want to see what happens next. But is that your argument for Toy Story 3?
This is the one I'm the most torn on. Toy Story 3 versus Incredibles. I'm gonna have to even think about which one I am gonna choose. But Toy Story 3 has an amazing plot with the Lotso bear, and the ending with them going into the furnace, and realizing how much we care about these characters, and again, the political implications of Lotso running his Illuminati there in the kids toy situation, the nursery, and the twist that the Lotso bear is in fact the villain. So I mean, Toy Story 3, superb. Incredibles was a whole, introduced its whole new world. It's been around since 2004. It's the superhero genre. It's got Jason Lee as the bad guy. I'm a big Jason Lee fan. I'm a Frozone fan. Was it Samuel L. Jackson as Frozone, right?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm a big Samuel L. Jackson fan.
Maybe I should take it away then, Brandon.
Oh yeah, well I haven't voted. Yeah, you can. So
I know, but I might help you because I don't think it's gonna matter. We might have to put this one to bed and put it out of its misery. I love Toy Story 3, but in this matchup, I really love Incredibles. As much as I kind of said Incredicoaster isn't great. I'm a big superhero fan, so this movie, I loved it. It was a throwback to kind of the Fantastic Four. You had that element to it. So many quotable lines. Where's my super suit? Great characters. Mr. Fantastic. No, sorry, Mr. Incredible, Mrs. Incredible. The kids, gotta love them all. So my vote in this matchup is The Incredibles. So I think that
So what Toy Story do you like? Toy Story 1?
Well, I don't have it as high on my hype list as Brian Kane necessarily. So I enjoy Toy Story 3, but I think Incredibles. I can't put Incredibles down for Toy Story 3.
Alan, of course, Alan spent a lot of his time in Toy Story World there in
That's right.
Now, if it was the way that you'd have a tough matchup would be Toy Story 1 versus Incredibles, I might have a tougher.
What about Toy Story 1, 2, and 3? Which one's your favorite?
It's hard to say. I mean, 1 and 3 are both good. I probably vote 1 more for the nostalgia and have seen it more times. And just, I think that even though they have the tear-jerky moment in Toy Story 3, I think Toy Story 1 would win over Toy Story 3 for me.
Brian, same question. Which Toy Story is on your top?
Which of the 1, 2, and 3, or
and 4? And 4.
4, number 4.
Okay, and then number 2, 1, 2, or 3.
I actually think that Alan described it really well. 3 is a great movie. 2, I care for the least. Nostalgia for number 1, but I probably would. Yeah, it's a toss-up. I don't know which one I would pick if if 1 or 3 were in front of me. I'd probably pick 3.
How many times have you seen Toy Story 3?
5 or less.
Okay. So that is that. Let's see. We'll take this down for a moment. Oh, here we go. Patrick's back with snacks.
I'm so sorry. So I did hear. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I heard everything. I gotta say, very hard, right? Like I do think Toy Story 3, like it's so hard when they just have nonstop sequels, but I do think that moment at the end when they're going into the furnace is probably the peak of the Pixar movies. You know what I mean? Like really.
Have you seen number 4?
I have not. So maybe I gotta watch it. I'm in for a treat. But the winner.
I just think if you pin it against number 4 I get it. It's like, wow, like your childhood is about to be crushed in front of your eyes. But number 4, it is crushed in front of your eyes.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna have time to talk about it. But let's go ahead next to I don't know where the hell we are. Going up to Up versus the original Cars. I know how much Cars is loved by this community.
I'll start this one because these are both low ranking for me. Up has the awesome beginning with him and his wife, and then, I mean, it's awesome to see the emotional.
It's like you're the first person to describe it that way, Brandon.
Just so awesome to watch that first 10 minutes, and but then from there it kind of falls apart for me. I mean, he's taking a balloon to the South America with his little scout there, his little Boy Scout
such
friend.
A crotchety man. Like it's just like he's not.
As far as what do we call that? A protagonist. The protagonist is this old man who you're just like, you get to care about him because you saw what happened to his wife, but I don't know, he's not that fun of a character.
He's not pleasant. Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun once they meet the dog. The dog's fun and adds the humor. And then they meet the bird, who I'm not as big of a fan of. And then you learn about, the history of the adventure and everything. But and then there's Cars, which is, it's for kids. It's talking cars.
And if for adults, if you like the humor.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch that. But
I'm really curious. What's your vote here, Brandon? You seem like you don't like either of these movies. No, what's your vote?
No, that's true. That's true. You got me.
No, but you got to pick one, I guess.
Cars has a whole franchise behind it. Given a lot of, I have fond memories about Up because of Alan. Alan had like his wilderness society. He's a big fan of the Boy Scout kid.
What? What did I do?
What's that?
What did I do? Are you talking about like at work?
You had a Facebook group where you were like the wilderness.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Was that did that start up after the movie, or was this when you were a child?
Yeah, no, that was after the movie. That was kind of the concept there.
That's fun.
Up versus Cars. Right now,
I'm gonna help you out with this one. It's so funny. It's so funny. When I saw the list and I was just reviewing it, and I was like, I just looked at the image of Up, and I was like, man, that movie just it starts strong and it just goes nowhere, and it's just like a very, very convoluted plot, like it's totally weird. And I feel like it probably gets like, I think that people attach so much to those first moments where like they probably couldn't even tell you what the plot was after that, because it doesn't matter. It's right. It's about it's like a one sentence plot, and they got it through in the first 10 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is just nonsense. So I think Cars, which launched its own land, which launched tons of fun characters, lots of fun tropes, and started the franchise. I feel like there's this desire for Up to be a good movie, but it's really not that great of a movie. Versus Cars, which like it amps up and it rises, and there's a lot of interesting character development, a lot of characters. That's what I'm going to say to that. Before Brandon's on the fence, Brandon clings on the fence. Let's go to Alan. Alan, what say you?
Yes,
and remember, you are on the clock.
Yes, definitely. So these are both. It's an interesting matchup. They are both good movies, not necessarily for me like the strongest in the whole bunch. But I think something that Patrick's forgetting is that, I love the balloons on the house. It's kind of, the problem is that there's there's a lot of iconic things from Up. And I remember the scene in World of Color. You have the scene and the music plays and the balloons are going up. It has like this cool music to it. So, but Cars, it's mostly the characters. There's not as many memorable moments for me in that one. So personally, for me, I think of these two movies, I actually lean more towards Up. That would be where I go.
It's up to
Name
you,
3
Brian.
characters from Up. No, go ahead.
I didn't actually. I will cast my vote, and Brian can be the tiebreaker. My vote is actually Patrick swayed me, and all I can say is that Cars Land is what swayed me. So, based on the idea that we have a whole Cars Land and 3 Cars movies, and I do like all the work and crazy detail they put into Cars Land. For that reason, I'm going to go with Cars.
And for that reason,
But
I'm out.
nobody's asking for an Up 2. All right, Brian,
Is that
go ahead.
Patrick?
Nobody's
Oh, I
asking
said no.
for Up 2. Valid.
Yeah.
Valid. Yeah. Patrick made a super great point. The last hour and 40 minutes of Up, I don't recall any of it. I've maybe seen it twice. It's Cars for me. Cars Land. Raiders experience is incredible. I remember in 2012 when it opened, going on Racers was so cool. I felt like that was the first time. Okay, so the riding Radiator Springs Racers was like walking onto Rise in 2019. It was the first glance of like, wow, I feel like I'm really in this immersive experience, and it took a long time for them to do it again, right? Going from Racers to then Rise. So
I want to
All
put
right.
I want to put my 2 cents in and say,
I want to change my vote.
no, I want to put my 2 cents on the next one. When Cars goes against anything else, you can't base how much you like the movie based on the theme park, because they can make an awesome theme park ride, but the movie itself is a pile of.
Well, listen, I'm not mad about this. I think it's just that these two movies they're good movies. They're solid movies. Solid. There's lots of good things to be said about them. So I'm not mad about the result there. I think before Cars Land, nobody would say they liked Cars the movie.
No,
I did.
For kids. I don't know about
I
Brian.
don't even know. It wasn't. Nobody knew why they were making Cars Land. It's
Brian
a good
liked
movie.
it.
Like when you go back and watch it, it is a good movie. But nobody back then knew it was a good movie. Anyways,
I can't fault you on that, Alan. I think you're right. I think it definitely improved the franchise for me. I enjoyed it.
It was. I thought we're moving on. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Let's go to
I'll let
Soul
you
and
have
Monsters
it.
University. All right, Monsters University versus Soul.
Alan starts off. Yeah, I'd like to say.
I'll start. Okay. I'll just say on this one, we kind of talked about both of these movies quite a bit already. Didn't we? What did Soul go up against in the first round?
I can't see the
It's
bracket.
right there. Yeah. They didn't. I guess they were we just talked about them so closely together. It seemed like they wouldn't. Okay. So for me, Soul, I think it's tough. Monsters University is a solid movie. Again, I think for me, the originality wins out a little bit more. And Soul, I think, Patrick said, it could go pretty far in this bracket. And I think that Soul, the character Joe, he's a great character. Number 27, all of that, a lot of great themes, much more just heartfelt themes. So I vote Soul in this matchup.
I want to ask one more question. Monsters Inc. against Soul, Alan. What would you say about the original versus Soul?
Well, if you're going to that, the interesting thing for me is I didn't see Monsters Inc. till a lot later. I think I was I think you said Cars you saw when you were older. I think Monsters Inc. I was a little older and I was kind of like, I don't need enough. I need to go see that movie. So I actually didn't see that one that early. Having said that, it's a very good movie, very solid. I'm gonna just say since they're not matching up against each other, I'm not gonna even say I have an answer. They're too evenly matched for me.
I think they will match up against each other in the final.
They may, yeah. We'll see.
I don't know that. Okay, Brian, go your take.
And I really appreciate hearing a lot about both. Patrick and Alan gave some really great things about Soul, which swayed me to pick Soul initially. Brandon said a lot of great things about Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. I'd like to talk about the Monsters Inc. ride. Just kidding. I think Soul's, especially I've seen it once, or maybe more than a handful of times. I just got off the Disney Magic. They have the Soul Cat Lounge. That was kind of cool. His little hat and his jacket's hanging there. I spent a lot of time in that lounge playing Disney trivia. But I think I have a lot more fun watching the Monsters University or Monsters Inc. characters. So for this one, I'm going to vote for Monsters U.
All right, so we got one vote Soul, one vote Monsters Inc. You guys saw me in the last round. I voted for Soul and Monsters University, both. But when you put them up against each other, because it's not the original Monsters, it is the prequel, and for that reason, and Soul is innovative, spiritual to the next level. If I had to really put Soul against Monsters Inc., I might go with Monsters Inc., but against the prequel, I'm going to go with Soul.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. You guys can hear me okay, right? My microphone's all getting weird. Okay, cool. All right, so things are moving forward. Did I miss something? Yeah, wait, did we do... We haven't done that one yet. Okay, so now things are all penciling in nicely here. I think at some point we're going to have a three-way round, or else the match is going to get really confusing.
Do we need to discuss that?
Luca, they've been eliminated.
Even this is kind of, we're going to get a...
I got time.
Brian, you're good on time?
Yeah, let's keep it tight.
Okay.
So let's go.
Let's
go.
I can step in for Brian to vote. I think.
No, I want to close it out.
We'll close it out. We'll close it out. Well, at this point,
Brian has the option to step out or have just stay, or to have stepped out of the whole thing. But no.
Okay, so I think this is legit. Okay, Toy Story 2 is brought back as an elemental. So hold on, let me make sure this is not matching up. No, wait, that got on. Okay, Elemental is up against Monsters Incorporated. That's what's happening right now. Boom. Discuss.
100% Monsters Inc. I've been waiting to tell everybody how much I love Monsters Inc. Elemental didn't even win against Toy Story 2 for me, so my vote is Monsters Inc.
Next?
Alan?
Me? Okay, you're going Monsters Inc. Yeah, so we didn't really talk about Monsters Inc. too much, but yeah, great characters. Mike and Sully. You got Boo, the scare floor. It has a great attraction, as we all. Elemental is a great modern movie, and it has a lot of fun characters as well. Cool design and things to look at. But I vote Monsters Inc. on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Monsters Inc. That hit us like really that whole like the door, like somebody. That's an interesting concept,
Yeah, I go Monsters Inc.
So yeah, Elemental didn't make it too far. And now,
I do think the next round is going to be pretty crazy. This next round, so. I don't know how badly I did the math, but I believe we are onto the final bracket, and there have been some interesting results. And I guess we're just going to have to do something. We might have to do a three-way at some point.
What you got to do is, here's what you got to do. Swap out A Bug's Life with Monsters, Inc. And then that, whatever comes out, Monsters, Inc. will just go to the semifinals there, not the quarterfinals.
Hold on. So let me just. Okay, so
we don't have a bottom one down there, so the top two will go. The quarterfinals there will go to semi, or the.
But what's going on with Incredibles? What is it up against? Oh no, we got to talk about Wall-E and Finding Nemo. Okay, we're talking about Wall-E and Finding Nemo right now, gentlemen. Discuss.
Who's first?
I mentioned that Wall-E was my favorite Pixar movie. I saw Finding Nemo. I've seen it quite a few times. I've seen the sequel. Huge Finding Nemo fan. It's definitely in my top 5. Definitely love all the characters and the story and the rides. But for me, for whatever reason, all the just Wally has a special place in my heart. I could talk about, again, the political implications of, just everything having to do with that movie and our effect on the environment and what we become in the future um, through a robot's eyes. I love Wally, and Wally goes forward for me.
Okay, Alan. Finding Nemo. Do you even have thoughts on this, or is it just boom? Finding Nemo's.
It's already 2-0. It's already
No,
It has
2-0.
been decided. It has been decided. Yeah, that Finding Nemo is out.
I would have
No,
also
Brian
voted for.
didn't go yet.
Now, Brian screamed out Wally in the first 2 seconds of this
Oh, I
segment.
missed it.
I would like to make my case if.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Brian's case,
Thank you.
and then we'll
Thank
ignore
you.
Alan and we'll move forward.
Well, we have more, but the thing is, we have Wally will have its chance. Wally will because Wally. Let's just take a time. Finding Nemo, I thought had a good discussion in the last round. So let's just go ahead and say Wally's the winner. And now this is the brackets are formulating. I think we have solved the problem of the things potentially. So now where we go from here.
I've got a question
Sorry, go
for
ahead.
you guys. I've got a little bit of a life situation. I'm here watching my aunt's dog, and I think since we've been on here a while, I think he needs to go out and go for a walk. Now, not a full
Sure.
walk, but I think he said he needs to go to the bathroom. Do you guys want me to just try to stay online and go along?
Yeah.
Stay online, baby.
Okay.
Just stay on.
We're almost there, guys. This is going to go quick now. We're
Like 5.
just for what it's worth. I only wanted to do 16, but Brandon wanted all 27, so that's why we're here.
Now we're at this stage.
now we're at the all right. I'm out of here stage. I think we have magically dwindled off, and we're good. These are going to be now. We're getting to the Titans, guys. These are the Titans. Toy Story 1 versus A Bug's Life, a movie that had its own land, several lands, along with Toy Story lands that there are many of. I'd love to hear anybody. I think this is one of the first time Toy Story's been up. I'm going to go to Brandon K in the studio. Sorry about that horrible sneezing. What do you think, Toy Story versus? Go ahead, Brandon K.
I mean, I have an affinity for A Bug's Life, the whole story, all the characters. Toy Story, obviously, being 10 years old, going to go see Toy Story with my mom, loving all these characters, collecting all the toys from McDonald's. And, they've been such a big part of our lives. The toys are back in town, it says. It says right there, the toys are back in town. Music by, what's the guy's name? Newman?
Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Randy Newman, music by Randy Newman. Oh, I just have such a special feeling thinking about Toy Story.
You got a friend in me.
I can't even contain my
You
happiness.
got a friend in me.
Bug's Life is high up on the list for me, but between the two of them, I got to go Toy Story.
Let me say this. Hold on. Were you guys living at Andros at that time, or were you in Hemet?
Hemet.
Okay, because I remember that that we had like one of the world's largest theaters like just randomly down the street from Andros Street by the Costco.
Yeah.
I saw Toy Story at that very theater. Anybody want to make a case for A Bug's Life?
No, I got a question though. No, I'm gonna go for Toy Story, but the toys are back in town. Dude, I feel like that's so odd. How does that make any sense in the movie? Like, I feel like that should have been like part 2.
Well, have you heard of The Boys Are Back in Town?
I have, but is that a play off the song?
Yeah, The Boys Are Back in Town. Now it's The Toys Are Back in Town, so that's the.
I didn't play the song in the movie.
I know what you're trying to say, Brandon, but like back then, like that would just be trying to be hip and relevant. Like,
Okay, well,
That's all it was.
For that reason, I voted Bug's Life.
confusing. Okay, A Bug's Life.
The
Alan,
Toys
over to
Are
you.
Back in Town. The Toys Are Back in Town. That
I
could have
apologize for-
been the preview.
Apologize for the background noise, but I vote. I think Toy Story is iconic on many levels. It was the kickoff of, computer generated animation. In the first movie, you talked about the second movie introducing a lot of characters. This introduced. I'm gonna go back the other way. Sorry. This introduced, at least 10 iconic characters right out of the gate. It put Pixar on the map. I
Definitely.
think, it's pretty hard to understate its importance in movie history, and for that reason, I vote Toy Story.
I got
Boys are back.
Okay.
This is a wrench in the works, but Alan, A Bug's Life or Elemental? It's not going to go
Ooh.
into ranking or anything. I just want to know your opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of hard based on. I've only seen Elemental the one time.
You put the wrong
You
one
know-
forward, Patrick.
Oh.
Or did I?
We're crushing Bug's Life.
It's
No, I
interesting.
think I would go A Bug's Life between those two.
Brian, Elemental or Bug's Life?
Bug's Life.
All right. So there you have it. All right. We're on to the next bracket. Well, Patrick, you pick. What's next?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Next up we have. So we're getting kind of an interesting comparisons. I'm gonna go to the bottom. I'm gonna call him audible.
No, it's
Oh, actually, no, hold on. No. Hold on. I gotta go here. Yeah. It's a very interesting bracket. Ratatouille versus Toy Story 4. I'm gonna go to Brian first.
Okay, this is interesting because I do like. Okay, I really like Toy Story 4.
This is hard for you, isn't it?
No, I'm gonna vote Ratatouille. I'm just trying to get there. Toy Story 4 is, Toy Story. I remember I was living in Nevada with my family, who sounds like my mom's watching live, which is exciting. I watched this.
Hey, Mom.
I watched Toy. Hi, Mom. I watched Toy Story in Reno. I loved it, like I said earlier. And Toy Story 4, great. I think the story was fun. The ending was phenomenal. Gut punch. But Ratatouille is so fun. Anyone can cook, but not everyone can cook. So I think I like the ride. I think it's cool. I just really enjoyed the Ratatouille movie on its own. Like it's its own storyline. So I'm gonna pick Ratatouille here.
This is another
Yeah.
strange tagline. He's dying to become a chef. Doesn't really have anything to do with the movie.
They don't know how to advertise movies. I will just say this: like, I don't know where this is gonna head, but I do feel like a Ratatouille, like the best Pixar ride there is, right? Probably without even question.
Wait. So Ratatouille versus Radiator Springs Racers. You go Ratatouille.
Oh, shite! I forgot about that. Now, Radiator Springs Racers is like the top in the world. I forgot Cars. I forgot about that. I was thinking of like Pixar Pier.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
no worries.
We'll forget
Okay,
it.
so all right, Ratatouille solid attraction, but only there's plenty of dark rides. There's a ton of Pixar shit in the theater, theme parks, people.
Toy Story Mania also.
Yeah, which Alan has. So Alan, it's just so hard when you have a sequel versus the original, very unique, and it holds up. It's fun for adults and for children. Alan, let's go to you. What do you think?
So
Ratatouille or Toy Story 4?
On this one, I haven't seen Toy Story 4, so I don't know if Brandon's
Let's go
already
to
voted.
Brandon. Let's go to Brandon. Let's go to Brandon. Let's go to make a case.
Well, no, that doesn't make sense. No. You go with me because then the vote is. No, because either way. Well, okay, let's go to Brandon.
No. I was going to see if we can convince you, but I also see that you may do devil's advocate and go for Toy Story 4. But I would much rather have Brandon, and them debate if there's a conflict. Brandon, are you more of a Toy Story 4 person or a Ratatouille person here?
I mean, as I've said throughout this whole bracket, Toy Story 4 can go up against, any Toy Story movie can go up against any other movie and probably win for me. And Ratatouille is low on my list to begin with. It's fun. It's a rat. He's got it.
Brandon.
He's a chef, but it's not a world. No world was built. No real characters besides Ratatouille and the chef were really.
It's Earth. It's a world.
It's a world where rats can go and be chefs.
Yeah, they can
Brandon,
talk and they have a community, just like Toy Story. Okay, Brian, can you convince Alan otherwise from Toy Story 3?
I was going to say, it doesn't sound like Brandon actually voted yet. So, Brandon, before you
No,
vote,
he said
can
Toy Story 4.
sway you? Okay.
No. Alan hasn't voted yet. Brandon's going for Toy Story 4 clearly. Alan's neutral, and I want to see if Brian can convince him to say Ratatouille because I think he's on the fence still.
Alan, you haven't seen Toy Story 4?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
That's a huge problem.
Are you familiar with Forky?
Alan, I think you should vote Toy Story 4.
What?
I think
You're
that-
throwing it?
I mean, if you were to see it, I feel like you would appreciate how it ends as well. I think it's great. I like Ratatouille. I hope you vote for that. I think it's fun. You know, I watched it last night. I watch it frequently. It's probably every other week.
You really watch Ratatouille every week?
Yeah, probably.
Why don't you vote for Toy Story 4? Because clearly I couldn't have been bothered to even watch it. So how good can it really be?
I
Vote Ratatouille.
I want to say that Brian, throughout our conversations, he said Toy Story 4 is one of his top movies.
Yeah.
Is Ratatouille really one of your top 4 movies? Or
Ratatouille's number 2, and Toy Story 4 is number 4.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, so you have a logic, but so he's a big Ratatouille fan. I went for Toy
Alan,
Story.
we need an answer, Alan.
What's that?
Alan, what's it going to be, Alan? Ratatouille or Toy Story 4?
I go Ratatouille. I think that in the
I love that.
integrity of the game, I have to vote for what I've seen. I can't.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we are down to.
Even if Patrick was going to be the tiebreaker, Patrick hasn't seen it either. So I think
Right.
you guys.
True. That's not voting well though for those who okay. We are down to the final 8. It'll be final 4 very shortly, guys. There's going to be some hard ones here. Let's go to one. Oh, I'm interested for this. Cars and Soul. Let's go ahead and go to Alan. Let's get your thoughts out. I know you're right now, kind of riding around.
No, you're good. So I kind
Cars
of
1
touched
versus
on.
Soul.
Yeah, I kind of touched on earlier that I don't have. I think that the characters of Cars. This is a different. The problem is we keep kind of bringing up the world of these movies versus the movies themselves.
Yeah.
So where the world of Cars probably could push it over the top, I think the movie itself doesn't hold as much weight for me as an iconic Pixar movie. So I think that Soul for me, coming out of the kind of the late round here and kind of a later movie, I think I put Soul above the original Cars movie. So I vote Soul.
Gotta respect that. Does anybody want to step forward and make an argument for Cars, or is because we have talked about both these movies already? Is Cars or is Soul just going to take it away here?
I mean, I can make it easy and just say Soul and go forward, but unless Brian has anything to say.
No, I was going to vote for Cars. I mean, just purely based on the amount of time I've seen both.
So, Brian, want to make a case for Cars and see if you can sway Brandon?
I don't know that he already hates the movie Cars. It's for kids.
Okay. All right. So we'll have it.
I'd like to hear your case. I'd like to hear your case still.
Yeah, he might be able to, he has seen the movie at least, so
I think it's a good movie. I like the story. You know, he's so full of himself, and then he goes to this town and gets humbled, and like learns to be appreciative and
It stands
a
up.
valuable member of society. Like and people, you know, you have Tom Mater who just adores him and has never heard a fly. Well, he does tractor tipping, but
There's a lot of bits, guys. There's a lot of fun bits, a lot of cool characters. But we're moving on.
I appreciate hearing that. Cars might even be like more funny, and I might even enjoy it more on my second watch. But Soul for me is
you can't. I can't fault you for that.
Yeah. So there you go.
Hey Brandon, do you want to take me off screen for a few moments? You guys can chat.
Yeah, no problem.
We like to watch.
Okay. Inside Out versus Monsters Inc. Yeah.
Okay, so I would start this out and say that I'm a huge fan of Inside Out and a huge fan of Monsters Inc. I like the concept of both, the worlds of both, one being inside Riley's mind, one being the monster world, other dimension. And I think that Inside Out touched a lot of people because of the emotional aspect and getting inside someone's mind and relating to that on such a deep level. But for me, this is a really tough one for me actually. But
Hey, can you bring Alan back? He's here.
Yeah, Alan can hear hopefully.
For me, hear the whole thing.
As far as classic Pixar, as far as character building, characters I want to see more of, I do want to see Inside Out too. That could sway the whole franchise for me. to really take it to the next level. But for the time being, I believe that Monsters Inc. is more the bigger adventure and the bigger franchise for me. I don't know.
So I want to go ahead and I want to step in here because I don't have a vote and I don't know which way this is going. I wanted to say a couple things about these movies because I don't know which one's going to go. Inside Out is a ripoff of Cranium Command that was at Epcot. It's the exact if you follow the history of it, it's like the same exact people were like working on it. It's a ripoff. Emotions have feelings, but you have that really cute character. What was that character's name? Like the weird creature?
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. You got to give respect to Bing Bong. I feel like Monsters Inc. and when it first came out, I'm pointing out the bracket here. It came out. It was one of the original ones. Like it was after Toy Story 2. So they had Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc. Like they were very much like into these crazy ideas that they're exploring, like monsters in your bedroom. Like what's that story? And the doors like massively creative. Well, Inside Out is kind of okay. Yeah, your brain being powered by emotions. Okay, not too interesting, but Monsters Inc. was like it put them back on the map. You know what I mean?
I want to say like Inside Out kind of launched this thing of like even it could like inspire Soul. It let them go into the next level with Soul and Elemental. Like I feel like they're just like doing more like vague abstract concepts since Inside Out, which I'm a fan of, but I agree with Patrick that Monsters Inc. was like just next level stuff.
I agree as well. I love the idea. Patrick, the way he said it's like it's super creative to think, growing up you're afraid of monsters in the closet, but then like exploring their side where the reasoning behind it, right? The only beef I have with Monsters Inc. is it took something away from me that I really cherished. Superstar Limo. So
I gotta respect that.
Yeah.
But I vote Monsters Inc. on this one.
Okay, Alan. Any final words before we move on?
Where are we at? You both voted Monsters Inc.
Yeah, we should have let you kind of sway us, but we didn't.
Yeah, we did not. But I mean, it'd be hard. I mean, I get it. Monsters Inc. is pretty iconic. For me, like I said earlier, it wasn't one of my big movies. Monsters Inc. I like the characters, but honestly, I Inside Out for me is probably top 5 or 6. So I definitely would have. I love I love Bing Bong, love the happiness and sadness. Lewis Black is anger. That's a great gag. I would have voted Inside Out, but
almost on the nose.
Casting
on the nose. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, love it, Alan. Thanks for making a plea. Let's go on to the next, guys. We're almost rounding out our final 4. We don't have too many. We have a couple wild cards in the mix, but these are practically classics. Like they were right. WALL-E in 2008. Incredibles came out in 2004. I do feel like WALL-E was another one where they were really. Their original movies like quite a rap sheet, right, all the way up, and then they started. Once they hit Toy Story 3, everything just kind of goes off the rails. It's all sequels and bad movies, but WALL-E and The Incredibles.
Which one?
Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3. Then it was all sequels after that. Alan, what?
No, that's completely incorrect. There's a lot of good movies.
I was kidding. I was kidding, guys. It was a joke.
Okay. All right, so here we go. WALL-E.
Wait, hold
on. Are we, Patrick? Are we down to an even 8? Is there 8 left?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We are. We will be down. We're creating our final 4. We have 2 more rounds.
Can you just review the final 4 matchups we have here?
Well, we've already done 2 of the 4. So what we have left to do, Alan, is we have WALL-E and Incredibles, and we have Toy Story original versus Ratatouille, and we already did the other 4 or the final 8 or semifinal or semifinal was Inside Out versus Monsters Incorporated. So Monsters Incorporated is going to go up against Toy Story and Ratatouille,
Okay.
And Soul is going up against Wally and Incredibles. So we're going to Wally and Incredibles next.
Okay.
And I want to say for anybody watching out there live, throw in we want to hear what you have to say, who you think will be the top Pixar movie of all time. For me, you want me to start, or who starts this one?
You can start. Go for it.
Okay. Got Wall-E, my favorite Pixar movie that's going to win the whole thing, and Incredibles. So for Incredibles, a huge, awesome movie. I talked about how it could beat quite a lot of other movies for me. And it does create a whole world of superheroes, and you get to know
Supers.
Yeah, supers. But for me, it's Wall-E still.
Okay.
Alan.
Anybody want to make a case for Incredibles?
Alan.
I did speak earlier that I really enjoy. Sorry, hold on one second. Okay. I really enjoy Incredibles. It's one of my top movies, but Wall-E actually does win out in this particular matchup.
Would anybody like to speak about Incredibles? No, it's a slaughter. All right, going on. No surprise.
I'm happy that Wall-E is so appreciated here.
It's my top.
Top. Well, all right. It seems like it's the top for many. All right, we're getting close to our final four. Next up, Toy Story versus Ratatouille. Does anybody want to make a case for Ratatouille?
That's
Yeah,
Brian.
I do.
That's Brian.
Let's do it, Brian.
Alan and Patrick Alan and Brandon are either of you gonna vote other than Toy Story?
Is
Who's
that
the
your
one you get persuade? You both are voting Toy Story, so it's over. Okay.
No, you got to persuade them.
Are you just playing devil's advocate, or do you really vote Ratatouille over Toy Story?
I haven't seen the original Toy Story in probably 6 weeks, but Ratatouille I watched yesterday.
Right.
So,
I will just say, okay, go ahead.
Toy Story, super creative, like you said, right out of the gate. It was. I really recommend the Pixar movie on Disney Plus for everyone to see. How they made that and the rest up till like 20. I think Wall-E was the last one they did on the movie, but Toy Story is great. I love it, but Ratatouille is so fun and creative. It's a wild ride. Toy Story. You gotta appreciate the graphics for what they were, but Ratatouille's is up there, and I just like the whimsical music in Ratatouille as well. And the ride was great. I haven't been on a Toy Story ride. Well, Slinky Dog Dash, never mind.
I'm gonna say this now. I bet that if both Alan and Brandon went and they sat down and they watched Toy Story 1, and then they took a break, and then they had a bite to eat, and then they watched Ratatouille, I think that those movies would match up a lot closer than you think they do. I think that, Toy Story started Pixar, but if you go back, I'm sure it's slow. I think a lot of the novelty was the 3D animation. The characters are just fine. A lot of them are just like childhood favorites. So you're like, oh yeah, I know what whatever Mr. Potato Head is, or I know what a 294. I think there's a lot of insider references to that are just fun because it's playing off that nostalgia and the toys.
I'm not seeing it, Patrick. It would never. I'm not voting for a rat over Toy Story. Not gonna happen.
All right. Well,
Alan, is this working on you?
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Alan can't hear anything.
Yeah,
we can hear you. Alan,
I can. Can you hear me? No, I can hear you.
Did that work for you?
I was gonna say,
did that work for you, Alan?
What? His argument?
Did Pat? Yes.
No. All I was going to say is that I think that it just points out a little more it's difficult, the world of Toy Story versus this individual movies, because you're right. If I were to watch Toy Story, it might not hold up as well as Ratatouille might as a visual movie and all that. But I can't necessarily say right this second that I would enjoy Ratatouille more, so I would pick Toy Story because I know Toy Story more. I vote Toy Story.
Okay, guys, we're down to the final four. Monsters Inc., Toy Story. We kind of have like a battle of the old school, and maybe kind of a battle of the abstract. Very interesting. I kind of feel like I don't really know where this is going to go. Actually, I think I do. Let's go ahead and put up. Oh, I kind of want to even like do like a draw here, but like out of a hat to kind of put who gets to go to who. Wally with Soul. Alan, I will just say, I know you're walking through a hallway right now. What say you? Because I have a feeling I know where Brian and Brandon would go. So what say you? You're kind of the wild card here.
Yeah, and I think that Soul is a great movie, but I kind of am in the camp of Brian and Brandon on this one.
Yeah.
In that Wally
Brian's
really
got his
holds up.
Wally shirt. What is that?
No, this is a Wally backpack.
Wally backpack. That's cool. This is a podcast, so I wanted to make sure the audience knows what you were doing there. Alan?
Yeah, what's it called? The Wally characters are great. Maybe if we redid this in 10 years, maybe if there was more Soul Universe. I mean, I guess there's really never been a Wally sequel, so I guess Wally kind of did its own thing just in one movie. But I don't think it even needs a sequel necessarily. But I vote Wally in this situation.
So I'm going to say a couple things.
I want to
because I know. Yeah,
Wally and Soul both are standalones, and they don't need sequels. Okay,
right.
I agree.
So I was going to say this. So I feel like there have been a couple Pixar movies more about like the human condition, and I feel like Wally is like right there, right? 2008, like right after Ratatouille. Like, gosh, if you look at these early films, like they are just wow. So I feel almost like Soul was a nice bounce back to like that crisis of humanity in a way that Wally did in a good way. So like I feel like these are just very good, solid movies. I would just, I mean, my vote doesn't matter, but I think I would put Soul above Wally because I think the first like 25 minutes of Wally, nobody talks, and that's like a little lot.
I love it.
So anyways, I believe Brian and Brandon, are you unanimous with Wally, and did we just call the show here?
I am, but I want to talk about that first 25 minutes because there's something really, really magical that happens in that is how much musical tones can define a personality of a robot. With him not talking and just like his mannerisms and the music in the beginning of that movie, really, like you really know his personality. I mean, it's really something. I really think it's incredible. I'm with Brandon. I think Wally could go all the way.
And I would even say that for me, this is the matchup because I might even put Soul above my other two favorites, Toy Story and Monster.
Yeah, that's how I felt like there may have been some, but if it happens here, it can happen anywhere.
Patrick, I mean, once we have our winner, we can do a consolation for the two that lost to see who would match up against those two. And then you kind of do it. If we wanted, we could just.
I do got to go to sleep at some point now.
It'd be a quick discussion.
The point is that Soul is a great movie. It's a very spiritual, philosophical, abstract. Makes you think about your life, the afterlife, your place in the world, your artistic purpose, but still, I think like the character of Wally. Is what takes it over the top for me. Is just like he's just such an awesome character.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
And so, but I even am really torn on this one, but I'll still say Wally.
No, but I'm gonna tell you this, Brandon. Like I feel like you like the idea. I think it's another one of these movies where like I couldn't really tell you the plot of Wally. It's the concept. It's the one elevator pitch of it that I can tell you what it is.
It's a very simple plot. He finds a plant and he's trying to give it to the humans to let them know that there's life on Earth and that they can return to Earth.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Yeah. It's like a really cool it's so cool. It's so cool. But Soul's cool in another way, but like that's like so cool.
It is so cool.
And, like they got Eva and all that shit. And yeah.
Let's move on. Next one. And I love how they just all get fat up there because they're just lazy. It's cool.
All right, let's go ahead and go back to our older seeds. No, let's go to the let's go All right, Monsters Inc. versus Toy Story. I mean, really, wow. This is really the now. Just so we all know, Toy Story came out in 1995. Monsters Inc. came out after the Toy Story 2 sequel. It was kind of interesting how they did a sequel in 4 years. Like they were like, okay, let's do a sequel, right? We have Toy Story, which really launched it, or Monsters Incorporated. Who would like to make a case for Monsters Inc? I'd like to hear that. Monsters Inc.
Oh, Brian's got the case.
I'll make a case. I think it's Toy Story was great. Get started, but Monsters Inc. I think is again, Patrick, you pretty much sold me on how creative the idea was. Where it's like, as children, I was scared of things under my bed, in my closet, right? As a young child, so to see from their point of view that it was simply to power their city, like what a creative idea that is. And I love the Monsters Inc. like universe. I think they're cool characters. I think the dynamics are cool. And like I dressed up as Sully for a marathon, and a bunch of my friends were the Child Detection Services, CDS, and so they were. I had a sock, so they were like chasing. Yeah, it's just cool. I think it's a fun storyline. Toy Story is great with the nostalgia, but I'm going for Monsters Inc. on this.
Also, as Patrick said, like the Toy Story characters, they were kind of already there for the playing with, as far as creativity goes.
Yeah.
So I mean, Buzz Lightyear was a new character, but he's a spaceman. Woody was a new character, but he's a
Western guy. It's a trope.
Western cowboy.
And just think of how clever the name Monsters Inc. is. That's so clever too.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
But
All right.
I even have gotten so much enjoyment out of the Toy Story movies. And
When was the last time you saw Toy Story, Brandon?
I saw Toy Story 4.
Yeah, not Toy Story 1 though.
We lost Alan.
He may have been a key swing boat on this.
Yeah.
And
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Okay, he knows how to get back. Okay, but even based on the entire franchise and the amounts of times that I've enjoyed Toy Story, and just how much fun and the feelings that I get watching Toy Story, even if Monsters Inc. more creative or a bigger world, better world, whatever, I still got to go with Toy Story.
I think that because of how much I care about Toy Story 4, I wouldn't care for Toy Story 4 without the beginning without Toy Story. So I do agree with you, but if I want to have fun and enjoy myself, I watch Monsters Inc. But if I want like a nostalgia punch, I'll go the Toy Story route.
What we have now is a tiebreaker, and Alan has dropped out.
Without hearing any of our arguments.
No, and then the interesting thing about Alan is these were his number 1 and 2 seeds.
Oh.
So we have to see, did he have a change of heart through all this discussion? And is this now his number 1? Because I mean, I can go ahead and I can break this tie right now. But
you could, but Alan just mysteriously dropped out, and
maybe his phone died. Patrick, before he jumps in, can you give us a 15-second what your vote would be and reasoning? Before Alan comes back, if you see him jump in, maybe stop.
Yeah, I think that I think Toy Story. I think there's a lot of nostalgia here for this. Like, if I watch Toy Story right now, I think it'd probably be a bore. But if I went and watched Monsters Inc., I'd probably find more things to be clever.
It's fun, but also one thing I was just thinking of is how clever is it that these toys are they don't move, but then when a human's not in the room, they're like so animated. Like, that's such a clever idea. It's because like it's kind of a similar storyline. Like, what's the story of the monsters on the other side? It's like when you're not playing with your toys, they're alive and they're super clever. It is tough.
I mean, I think you're right. I think you're right. Like, there is something there, but it's like, that's like it's a novel idea, but it's a goof, and it's kind of fulfilling a children's fantasy, right? Because then it was always the question of like, oh well, is Mickey Mouse real? Is are my toys alive when I'm
when I'm not there, when I'm sleeping or I'm not there. Like you're right, it is. So it is there, but we lost
No,
Alan.
I got Alan. No, I just before Alan steps in with his final tiebreaker, Patrick, are you like just over the Toy Story franchise? Is that why you didn't go watch Toy Story 4?
I think it came out and I had kids or it was COVID. I think it's a kid thing.
If
When
like
that
right
come
now,
out?
it's like right now, Toy Story 5 comes out and Monsters Inc. 3 comes out. Which one are you more psyched for?
Hold on. When did Toy Story 4 come out? It came out in 2019.
Yeah.
I haven't really been good about seeing any of these last like I think I may have saw Incredibles 2. I'm kind of surprised Toy Story 4 was 2019 and I just didn't see. Or like, did I? I don't think I saw it because I feel people had a hard on for it and I didn't see it. Like I was getting married. I was out building a theme park. And then Onward, I definitely did not see, but I saw Soul for sure.
But,
Alan, same question of like if Monsters Inc. 3 came out tomorrow or Toy Story 5 came out tomorrow, which one are you more psyched to watch?
I think I'll answer the question.
Yeah, Patrick first and then Alan.
I think that there's probably more of an interesting story to tell with Monsters Inc. because they have such an interesting story and an evolution of what they're doing. Toy Story, it's like, guys, okay, they're toys. How many kids there? How many generations? Like, what are we really doing here, you know?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Alan?
So I cut out there.
I may have seen the Toy Story 4. Sorry, go ahead.
I cut out there for a little bit. Sorry. But so unfortunately for me, honestly, like I know you guys are all big on Monsters Inc., but for me, the movie wouldn't have cracked my top 5. So I think that you guys are definitely swaying more for Monsters Inc. But if you were pitting a Monsters Inc. sequel versus a Toy Story, I'd go Toy Story vote. Monsters Inc. is a good movie, but I think Inside Out should have been up there. I think there was some other ones that were kind of laid to the side, and that that's all.
Well, just so you know, this is the original Monsters movie.
This is
Monsters Inc. I get that. I'm saying the original Monsters Inc. isn't in my top 5. It wouldn't be in my top 5.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up Alan. Your top list you sent me. It was Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, WALL-E. So it was your top 2.
So I can explain that. Mine wasn't a specific in order list. I basically went through the movies, kind of put them in order, moved them around. Monsters Inc. did remain up there because it's fine. But no, if I really thought about that list, it wouldn't be my top 5.
Toy Story moving forward on the bracket, going head to head with WALL-E.
It is? Who else voted for Toy Story?
Me and you.
Oh, okay, you did vote for it. I didn't. I think I must have cut out at that point. Okay, so
no, yeah, me and
you. Just don't think.
Toy Story original versus the best movie besides Soul that Pixar has done.
WALL-E. I want to say a few words.
It's the longest.
I want to say a few words.
Breaking the 2-hour mark. I appreciate you guys.
I just think that while I don't have a good answer for this, I could not watch Toy Story and never care to see it again.
That's how.
Now WALL-E, I would watch WALL-E again. I just feel like this. I feel like something happened with this where it just feels like there should have been a better movie up against WALL-E. Because Toy Story ain't it. I just feel like it ain't it.
Toy Story is
it's not that great, guys. It's not that great. If you go watch these, I just think that you guys are weird. I think something happened along the way that this is not right.
Alan agreed. Alan, you agreed that Toy Story isn't the best on this list?
I think that it's a discussion of the universe versus the movie. So I think it is carrying a lot of nostalgia to get itself to the finals. I might, if I had in my final, if I had Inside Out, Toy Story, WALL-E, Incredibles, Soul, it's gonna be tough. A lot of it just comes down to kind of matchups and nostalgia. Toy Story and just personal preference. I mean, some of my picks got outvoted, because it's a 3-man room, so it's difficult.
And I would have put Toy Story 3 higher than Toy Story 1. I don't know.
Well,
that was a nice.
Should we have a seating where something goes up against it?
No, this is the way that happens. It's just anybody want to make a case for Toy Story?
So Brian is holding his WALL-E bag.
My WALL-E backpack here that I've only used one time, and it was to carry booze onto the Disney Magic 2 months ago.
That's great.
I'm also leaning Wally. Alan, you don't even like Toy Story that much. So what say you?
I do like Toy Story. I said I didn't
It's
like
on the
Monsters,
top of
Inc.
his
that
list,
much.
actually. Hold on,
Yeah,
I will tell
I
you
said I
this:
didn't
the
like
list that Alan did not really do very well. Toy Story was ahead of Wally, but you're like you said, you're like, I kind of just put numbers on a page.
Well, I moved them around. Kind of my top 10 are probably my top 10 potentially. Monsters Inc. could probably up
I
in
just
the
love
top
that you
10.
said Monsters didn't even my top 5, and it's on your number 2. It's just so
number
funny
2.
to me.
Um,
So good.
but no, I even said at the beginning, like I think it all comes down to. I was kind of curious where my votes would end up in the end of this whole thing. I don't really. I think Wally's a pretty good choice for the best movie of the Pixar franchise. So I think I would go Wally on this one.
I would say this is something I wanted to introduce at the beginning, which is as part of our vote, we would put a score on the world and a score on the characters, which would be a very interesting way to do it. But as far as the characters, the best characters in Pixar, for me, it's the Toy Story characters.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Can you think of other characters that you like?
No, you're right.
Well, that's
I
even
like
an interesting.
I like the Cars I like Cars characters better, but that's me.
That's even an interesting discussion of just the characters as a bracket. You could say there's a lot of interesting characters that you could match up. Just the characters themselves.
But even put it against Monsters Inc., put it against Finding Nemo. The Toy Story has the best characters, right?
No, I would even put Finding Nemo above that. I don't think that these characters are that interesting.
All right. Well, that's but I do.
You name any movie and I'll tell you what I think. I don't know.
I mean, Buzz Lightyear got his own spinoff.
That's right.
And that was a zero. That was 0 points on our scale.
So
The non-scientific method.
Oh, I'll talk, Brian.
Did
He's
Wally
wallied
take
up.
it?
No, guys, don't talk. Brian, what were you saying?
I'm asking if Wally took it. My vote's Wally. I mean, I got
okay,
Wally.
yeah, it looks like everything's leaning towards Wally, and I want to say why for me, because it really does come down to Toy Story and Wally for me. But as far as the story of Wally and the world of Wally, and again with this existential idea, and like learning a lesson, like learning a life lesson, and like a world-changing, life-changing movie, Wally is that for me over Toy Story. So.
Now the real story.
Well, hold on. So for me, that's good.
Oh, Brian Drew, is that the Elemental or
this is Elemental? Yeah, my fiance and I did. We were. It was California Adventure a year ago. We went and they had Elemental drawing.
Screen, right? Patrick is taking control of the screen. I did not.
You gotta see these characters. It was great. I learned to smile like that from Patrick and a guy named Chris at Disney. I didn't quite understand the assignment when we drew these characters. So
No,
go to a screen, Drew.
It's kind of its own thing because he created a new character.
That's cool.
Oh yeah,
hers looks way better. I just didn't understand, and mine's a disaster.
Oh.
Were you drawing
Did it
Mickey
straight
Mouse?
on you?
I thought that when we did the wave on one side, you do the wave on the other side, and they were like, and this side just swoops down, and I'd already screwed it
That's
up.
like a ball sack on the top.
Thank you for finding that, Patrick. That was.
I sent it to him, but
And it was her birthday. 33.
and first visit to Disneyland.
All right, hold on. Oh, what does yours say, Brian? What does your pin say?
I'm celebrating.
Oh yeah. Oh, Brian was celebrating. Yeah, that's awesome, guys. Okay, let's see.
Leon's birthday.
There you have it.
Look at you right in the eye. All right, no, hold on. We need to go back to this real quick. I'd like to say.
I'd like to finish what I was going to say about Wally winning.
Yep.
Yeah. I was trying to go back. I'm sorry. I had already switched it. So, Brian, I want to hear your thoughts on Wally. I apologize.
Wally came out when I was in college, and I was an environmental engineer, and I really thought back when I was in college, I was setting out to save the world by being an environmental engineer. And Wally really resonated with that, where it's like, hey, let's preserve the earth, let's do our best. And I love Wally. I think about it all the time. I've got artwork at work. I've got I'm a big fan of WALL-E. I'm glad it won. Makes sense to me.
I want to say one more thing. Hey, would anybody look at WALL-E at the top and say, "Oh, I think another movie's better"?
My top three are all right there: Toy Story, Soul, and WALL-E. And I can say WALL-E took it for me.
I think that WALL-E being there is a good close for me. I think that it's not necessarily wrong. I think there's a lot of great movies, and I think that one has a good balance of everything.
We have a controversial opinion on here coming in through the chat. Wyatt wants Up as the number one.
Oh, why you got to go way back in the time machine to see our discussions of Up, because we had a lot of thoughts on that.
They ripped it apart, Wyatt. They hate it. They're just
I will say maybe a sleeper hit, maybe Brave. If you had a chance to change your life, would you? All right, that's only for Wyatt if you're still watching.
So for me, to do this bracket again, I'd have to watch Brave and Coco and then come back.
Nah, that's not where we're getting there. I think you should watch Coco, though, for sure. Now, I would like to say, for those of you that watched the MCU show that I was on, I have since seen The Marvels, and I've since seen Shang-Chi. Great movies. There you go. Can you pop that up on screen? There you go. Great movies. Guys, I've been told we are going to do MCU. I want you all to watch every MCU movie. I've seen them all. I've just seen them all because I'm going to be part of this. And who do you think feels the least strongest about MCU here? Who's going to be the moderator? Because I did all this, but somebody else is going to do it next time. If this was successful, which we're talking about offline.
I think I've seen phases 1, 2, and 3. I don't. Whenever I'm with the four of you, you all seem to have way stronger opinions than me. So I could do the bracket.
Brian,
Brian bowing out.
It's great, but I just can't. I can't stand a flame to your candle.
You can't hang with us. Yeah, I'm not that passionate about Pixar movies either, so that's why I stood out. So, anyways, is that okay, Alan? You know MCU. Brandon K, you know MCU.
I think Alan's frozen.
Let it go.
Yes, of course.
Let it go.
I'll put it out there right now. Oh, Alan's gone. Let's wrap this up. I'll put it out there right now. Endgame is the best Marvel movie. Done.
Oh, I agree.
You just don't get it, Brandon. You just don't.
No. It could go up against Iron Man.
It could go all the way.
You never know.
It's interesting. Well, Brian, did you really have to just ruin? I'm not doing the show.
No. I'm just kidding. Of course.
No, it's a great freaking movie. I get it.
All right, we should wrap this up.
but yes, tune in next time for all of our nice fun times. I'll make sure to have Patrick's links in the description to talk about how you can reach him on LinkedIn and support Giftiply and Big Break Foundation. Thank you guys for joining me, Alan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I think we unanimously decided that WALL-E was the best of them all, without any real pushback. Correct?
I think that the one thing that we'd have to look back on is the left side of the bracket. Something else could have potentially made its way out, because I think I did have WALL-E as maybe the best. It's difficult. There's probably some ones in there that got pushed down for me. It sounds like you guys are really high on WALL-E. I would be interested to retally.
That's all the time we have. Thank you.
Before we go, I want to just dedicate this episode to Freya, my niece. Happy 4th birthday, Freya. We all love you here.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, we have
Happy birthday to you. 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 Oh, we did Star Wars.
The best one was The Last Jedi.
Hey, we can do this bracket again. How many Star Wars movies are there, Brandon?
11.
Boom. We got a bracket.
if we do like spin-offs and like those like one-offs, you got like Rogue One and
Well, no. That's what I'm saying is that there's 9 of the main movies, and then there's Rogue One and Solo. Those were the 11 that were in.
that's it. I didn't
Yeah,
know
those
that.
are the 11 that were in theaters, and then you got Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Bad Batch, Clone Wars. So, thank you for joining us. This was a really great show, guys. I'm going to let you guys go. This is reach out, comment, subscribe. Wally is best. We all decided it here. Thank you for watching.
And may I just say, if any